Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Marvel. Signing in Kai Daddy at the beginning. Chapter 81. Loki. Odin's extremely majestic voice sounded. The evil god Loki suddenly turned into a weakling, facing the god king's obedient salute. Then Odin's words made his expression change drastically, and his heart jumped into his throat. I know everything you did. Let the giants of Jotunheim enter Asgard, deceive and attempt to kill Thor, freeze Heimdall, and try to use the Bifrost to destroy Jotunheim. I'm so disappointed in you. Odin looked at Loki with hatred. Others looked at Loki with hatred. Only Queen Frigga was still comforting her. But he couldn't give Loki any warmth. I'm doing this all for your father, for you. Loki whispered desperately, but Odin gave Loki the final blow. No, you do it all for yourself. Click. Loki felt his heart was broken, and he bowed his head in silence, feeling secretly sad. Lock him up and reflect, Odin ordered. Immediately some Asgard guards came forward and took Loki away. Frigga and Thor accompanied her. The plot of Thor 1 has come to an end. You'd better keep a close eye on him, Wong Kai said coldly. Then he and Luna turned around and left. Ancient One also smiled and said goodbye. 3 people and 1 cat went to the Asgard communication room. At this time, Wong Kai suddenly remembered something. Mage Ancient One, did you open the portal directly from Earth and come to Asgard? The green light he saw at that time was emerging from the mountains to the west of Asgard. Not a rainbow bridge from the communication room. No, I just used the natural space channel between the 9 realms to come here. This place is very far away from the Earth. Even I can't bear the cost of using the portal. There is a prelude comic from Thor 1 to Avengers 1. It tells the story of Odin gathering black magic to transport Thor to Earth. Afterwards, Odin also fell into a period of weakness. This shows how far apart the 2 places are. After hearing what Ancient One said, Wong Kai's eyes lit up. In myths and legends, the Earth is called Midgard, which is Midgard. It has all the space passages to the 9 realms. Is this real? Ancient One nodded slightly. Not only did he not deny it, he also told Wong Kai the location of the space channel connecting Jotunheim. That's in an iceberg in the North Pole. This is where the Ancient One goes to Jotunheim, then transferred from Jotunheim to Asgard. As for other space channels, they are either too fragile or have been sealed by the Ancient One. It is temporarily unavailable. 3 people and 1 cat came to the portal of Rainbow Bridge. The guardian god Heimdall inserted his guardian sword into the central controller. Colorful tubular passages suddenly appeared. Wong Kai and the others stepped into it. In the blink of an eye, he was back outside the town where Thor was reborn. The movement of the Rainbow Bridge naturally attracted many people. Among them are Jane, Eric and Daisy. Jane stepped forward and hurriedly asked where Thor had gone. Obviously he has never forgotten this Asgardian prince. Eric just wanted to study the Rainbow Bridge. The astrophysicist is excited about the magic side of the Einstein-Rosen bridge, or wormhole. After all, it was all speculation before. Now that we have physical objects, research progress will be many times faster. Wong Kai briefly explained. Then he said with a smile, if he remembers you, he will probably come back to see you. The fate is wonderful. I don't know if Thor will fall in love with Jane as much as in the original plot. Wong Kai stopped paying attention to what happened after that. I rested for a while with Luna. Normal school holidays. I had a lot of fun with Peter, Gwen, and Harry. Experienced some upper-class university life. Then he set off for the North Pole. On a vast white ice field, golden rotating light particles suddenly appeared, and then the light particles quickly expanded to form a portal. 2 figures walked out of it. It was Wong Kai and Luna. Wong Kai is still wearing the same blue thin casual clothes. Luna was wrapped tightly. Down jackets, gloves, and scarves are all available. Even if we have a specific location, it's still not easy to find the location. Wong Kai sighed in his heart. It's all the same here. Even the Supreme Mage would be stunned. How did the Ancient One find the hidden space passage? Brother Kai, this way. Luna's dull voice came from under the scarf. Later, the strong wind carried away 70% to 80% of it. But fortunately, Wong Kai's physical fitness is different from ordinary people and he can hear clearly. The 2 of them walked towards an ice cap in the distance. Keep using the portal to get on your way. In this way, it took 5 minutes to reach the place pointed by Luna in the vast white ice field. Strange, this is where I sensed it. But why are there so many people from the expedition team here? Luna looked at the expedition team that was digging holes in the ice sheet with confusion. Wong Kai understood instantly. This is the SHIELD expedition to search for Captain America. If you think about it carefully, this is the time when Captain America saw his mortal enemy the Red Skull disappear. As a result, I got crazy and drove the plane towards the glacier without knowing how to get off the plane. As a result, it will last for 70 years once frozen. Now the old popsicle is finally about to see the light of day again. Let's go and meet them. The thin clothes in the ice and snow speak for themselves. In addition, Wong Kai's face is already well known to everyone in SHIELD. Soon the leader of the expedition appeared. Why you? Wong Kai was slightly surprised. It was Natasha Romanoff who showed up instead of Coulson. Well, it's me. Natasha Romanoff showed a charming smile. Even wearing a heavy black down jacket, she can't resist her attractive figure. A pair of peach blossom eyes seemed to enchant the soul. Even more attractive than Luna who sealed the succubus. Since you're here, why don't you help me? There's a reward for my sister. As he spoke, he twitched his fingers. Wong Kai was immediately embarrassed. Then Luna snorted softly. He turned his head directly. Ahem, let's talk about the situation first. When it comes to business, Natasha Romanoff finally gets serious. They have found the frozen location of Captain America. It's just under 100 meters of glacier. The conditions here are bad, and if you want to dig it out, it will definitely not work within a month or two. But now that Wong Kai appears, it will be much easier to handle. The fierce blue magic armor appeared. Immediately afterwards Wong Kai used Awakening. The body size more than doubled in an instant. A casual slash is enough to create a 100-meter sword. Boom! A deafening sound came out. A large crack 100 meters wide, a person wide, instantly opened in the ice sheet. Even the depth is more than 10 meters. When Wong Kai saw this, his heart moved. The solid one is more difficult than the hollow one. It seems that I have found something to test chopping with again. Huge amounts of blue magic blades suddenly glowed red in the hand. True damage enchantment. Wong Kai held the knife in both hands and slashed downward again. A loud noise spread throughout the entire ice field in an instant. Then the huge amounts of cracks began to extend outwards, making a continuous crunching sound. Natasha Romanoff was suddenly shocked. These two swords actually cut off the glacier. The large glacier that froze Captain America was cut in half by Wong Kai, exposing an ice abyss hundreds of meters deep. Wong Kai stared down and his heart was calm. He jumped straight down. When Luna saw this, she also followed. It took less than a minute for the two of them to find Captain America, who was frozen solid under the glacier, and the famous red, blue and white star vibranium shield. Ding! It is detected that the host is located at the sign-in location of Captain America's frozen land, and the sign-in process will begin. The countdown to sign-in is 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Another sign-in location. After collecting these 300 check-in points, there will be 1,450 check-in points. Wong Kai showed a smile. Blue magic blade enchantment true damage. Just like cutting butter, remove the ice cube wrapped in Captain America in 2 or 3 strokes. Luna opened the portal. The two returned to the ice field with the old popsicle and the shield. Well, it's taken out, but it will take some time to thaw. Wong Kai put down the American team. Natasha Romanoff couldn't help but get excited when she saw this. This is one of the spiritual pillars of SHIELD. With Captain America, SHIELD can be louder when asking for funds from superiors. By the way, I have something to ask you. Wong Kai looked at Natasha Romanoff and suddenly said. He once went to the birthplace of various superheroes to re-sign. But I have never been to the Red House where the Black Widow was born. Now the tale of the 50 check-in point makes him suffer from obsessive-compulsive disorder. It's better to re-sign and re-sign as soon as possible. After asking, Natasha Romanoff was a little confused but still told the location. It is located in a remote city in Far East Siberia. It is now almost deserted. Okay, we still have something to do, so you should go ahead and do it. After learning about the birthplace of Black Widow, Wong Kai and Luna left directly. They also have to go to Jotunheim. According to Luna's perception, After walking a few kilometers further, we finally arrived outside the iceberg that Ancient One said, and the space passage is inside the iceberg. If you want to get in, ordinary people have to climb up the vertical ice wall, entering from the mountainside covered by magic. But this is naturally trivial to Wong Kai and Luna. The two successfully crossed the iceberg and arrived inside. Go all the way down the ice ladder. It felt like I was almost entering the bottom of the sea before I found the entrance to the space passage. It was a gray-blue energy vortex, lying on the ice as quietly as a well. Let's go, Luna. Wong Kai smiled and took Luna's hand. The two of them jumped into it at the same time. The gray-blue energy vortex swallowed the two of them instantly. Not a single shock was caused. Jotunheim. The gray sky and snowflakes that remain unchanged for thousands of years seem to never stop. There is an extremely desolate feeling everywhere. At this time, two figures walked out of a hidden cave on a mountain peak. Give the world a different feeling. Ding, it has been detected that the host is located at the hidden sign-in location of Jotunheim, and the sign-in will begin. The countdown to check-in is 9 minutes and 59 seconds. The system prompt sounds. It's the 1000 check-in point again. After collecting it, you can continue to draw 10 times in a row. But 10 minutes in such a desolate place felt as long as an hour. Wong Kai looked around. There are dim peaks and valleys everywhere, not even a plain. As soon as her heart moved, she smiled at Luna and said, "Let me do a magic trick for you." The blue magic armor appears, becoming even bigger after awakening. Then Wong Kai waved the 100-meter sword in Luna's expectant eyes. It emits blue crescent moons one after another towards the surrounding mountain peaks. Cut off all the hills surrounding the two of them. And this took Wong Kai more than 10 minutes. Brother Kai, what magic are you doing? Luna looked curious. Wong Kai raised the corners of his mouth. The changing metal storm carried Luna high into the sky. As the height gets higher and higher, Wong Kai's magic finally appeared in Luna's eyes. After all, the broken mountain rocks are connected together, faintly turned into a heart shape. Luna immediately covered her mouth with both hands. The joy is beyond words. I was even more excited. And Wong Kai smiled brightly. The way of expressing love is so simple and crude. The check-in point has been arrived. Wong Kai started the lottery immediately. System, I want to draw a lottery, 10 draws in a row. Ding, 2000 check-in points have been consumed, and a lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the hero template, Qinglongzi Keita. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Puffer Grenade. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Gorgeous Revolver. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the equipment, Endless Glaive 2. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment and the counter-injury spike armor. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the consumables, the big medicine box. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item, the system backpack expansion column. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining special items and skill enhancement points. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting a special item, thank you for your patronage. It's actually Qinglongzi's hero template. This is really profitable. 9 thank yous for your patronage are all worth it. System, since Qinglongzi is not a skin, are the skills and attributes of the same Kaidai hero template common? This is the issue that Wong Kai is most concerned about. It's best if it's universal. But even if it is not universal, with the power of the mythical beast Qinglong, it is still a very powerful hero template. The host's brain can be donated without any suggestion. It's the familiar scolding voice again. Wong Kai's eyes, ears, and even his brain were ridiculed. They are both Kai's immortal demonic bodies, so they naturally share skill levels. Kai Daddy NB. After hearing this sentence, Wong Kai was extremely happy. This is more comfortable than drawing another Sun Wukong hero template. Let's look at other rewards. They are all inferior in comparison. Blowfish Grenade. From the Machine Creation Lubin number 7, throw a blowfish grenade at the designated location, causing an explosion to damage the enemy. Cooldown time, 7 seconds. Gorgeous Revolver. It comes from the long-distance gun Marco Polo. It shoots continuously in the specified direction. The faster the attack speed, the more bullets it shoots. You need a weapon to use it. Cooling time, 5 seconds. The skills of braised eggs and pineapple. Basically useless. 2 handfuls of endless goodies. There is nothing to say about putting it directly into the equipment slot. He is now only 5% short of a full critical hit chance. Anti-injury spiked armor. Improves physical defense and attack power. When receiving close physical damage, spikes will appear to counterattack. If you don't need the equipment, give it away. The other rewards are all old faces. The system backpack space has been upgraded to 64 cubic meters, and the immortal demon body has also been upgraded to level 27. Luna, let me do another magic trick for you. Wang Kai replaced the Qinglongzi template. The two walked into the cave with smiles on their faces. Earth, Arctic Ocean. Suddenly there were waves under the calm sea. A majestic blue giant beast suddenly rushed out from under the sea. Thousands of water splashes are set off to reflect countless rainbows. At the same time, a voice of joy, joy and joy from the heart resounded throughout the sky. Wang Kai transformed into the green dragon mythical beast. Carry Luna on your back and fly freely in the sky. Thunder, lightning, storm and cloud all obey orders. Wise quartet dare not accept your fate. The next few months were like the calm before the storm. The world has entered 2012 peacefully. Tony stayed at home and worked on his Iron Legion. I hope to be able to withstand the pressure of the Chidori army when it comes. So he designed a set of steel suits for everyone in the Avengers. It can be called rich and inhumane. Dr. Banner was also successfully recruited. It's just that Wang Kai's eyes are always a little evasive. It seems that Hulk's painful memories are also deeply impressed on him. After regaining consciousness, Captain America became a golden brand again. S.H.I.E.L.D. finally got through the most difficult period. After knowing everything and meeting his aging girlfriend, Captain America, Black Widow, and Hawkeye joined the Avengers. Although he has not officially withdrawn from S.H.I.E.L.D. But everyone knew it was only a matter of time. And today, Wang Kai summoned everyone to the completed quantum channel. Explained to them the function of this dream machine. Many people were excited for a while. Cap wants to go on that date and dance with Peggy. Let time flow through the body. You can make Peggy look young again. Tony wants to apologize to his father and then save his father from the Winter Soldier. Just go to a parallel universe. Dr. Banner wants to strip Hulk and lead a normal life. This is difficult. After all, Hulk is just his other personality. Time cannot solve this problem. Only by trying to integrate the personality like the original plot. Banner was slightly disappointed after hearing this. Next I will go to the quantum realm to retrieve Janet. It's up to you and Stark to take care of the time machine. Wang Kai smiled and said to Dr. Pym. Dr. Pym glanced at Tony. Although he was extremely reluctant, he nodded. As long as you rescue Janet, then everything will be fine. Okay, let's start now. It took more than half a year. I blew up more than 20 duplications of Luna. This quantum channel instrument was finally completed. The style is the same as in the original plot. It looks like a rectangular electric oven. Wang Kai doesn't understand anything else. Just know that he will enter the quantum realm through this oven. The ghost girl stepped forward and handed over a set of quantum suits. This is almost identical to the Ant-Man suit. Apart from not changing the style in a hurry. It also has the purpose of allowing Janet the Wasp to know the identity of the visitor at a glance. Just changed into the quantum suit and before Wang Kai was ready. Dr. Pym, Hope, Ghost Girl, Goliath, and Luna all surrounded them. Please, save my wife, Mother. Kai, it's all up to you. Brother Kai, you must come back safely. Faced with the sincere words and expectant tones of the 5 people, Wang Kai gave a thumbs up. He gave them a reassuring look. Don't worry, it's a piece of cake. Looking at Wang Kai's confident eyes, the 5 people left. Then came the blessings from Tony, Captain America, Banner, Hawkeye, and Natasha Romanoff in turn. Come on, good luck. Wang Kai nodded. One final check of all equipment on all suits. All preparations are completed. You can start at any time. Open the quantum channel, Dr. Pym. Okay, everyone retreat outside the laboratory. Dr. Pym shouted. Naturally no one gets sick at this juncture. Everyone obeyed and came outside the laboratory. Through the thick transparent glass. They can also see the entire process of the experiment. Count down to 5 seconds. Dr. Pym shouted, and at the same time began to charge the quantum channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, buzz. Wong Kai stepped into the quantum channel. The whole person shrunk countless times in an instant. The quantum channel in my eyes has also become as majestic as an unattainable mountain. Time seems to slow down, but also seems to speed up. The golden channel seems to be infinitely lengthening and widening. The passage that originally only took a few steps to cross. Now it seems that it will take me a lifetime to finish. The world in my eyes quickly became magnificent. A spherical bacterium keeps enlarging in the eye. From the size of a ping-pong ball, the file size is getting bigger and bigger, gradually occupying the entire field of vision. Even engulfed him. The familiar symbols of atomic nuclei and electrons flashed away in the peripheral vision. Reality is gradually distorted, and the surroundings are as dazzling as a kaleidoscope. Wong Kai felt as if he had spent a century. We finally arrived at our destination, the quantum realm. And in everyone's sight, Wong Kai, who was wearing a quantum suit, shrank and disappeared almost in the blink of an eye. It turned into a speck of dust and fell into the quantum channel. "Hey, Kai, can you hear me?" Dr. Pym shouted anxiously and fearfully into the communicator. Everyone at the scene immediately held their breath. Whether you succeed or not depends on this. The communicator was silent for about 2 seconds. Only then did Wong Kai's very excited voice come out. "I can hear it. You should really experience it. This place is as vast as the universe." Within the quantum realm, all around are colorful smoke. Like a cosmic nebula, Wong Kai looked at all this and was amazed. It wasn't until Dr. Pym heard another anxious shout that he came back to his senses. "Kai, how are you feeling? If you feel uncomfortable, you can come out immediately." Wong Kai tried to move a bit. There is no special feeling except that the gravity is a little lower. It's not like Dr. Pym in Ant-Man 2 who came in and died after half his life. "I'm fine, I can go find your wife now." Wong Kai glanced at the icon that controlled the battlefield. It is available for use at this time. So Wong Kai closed his eyes and subconsciously chose Janet. Light white bands of light that twist and turn around each other appear from behind. Wong Kai sang on the spot for 2.2 seconds. Then he suddenly disappeared on the spot. Somewhere in the quantum realm, Janet, who had lived alone here for more than 10 years, suddenly found herself wrapped in a ball of translucent bubbles. Before she could figure out what was going on, suddenly a figure appeared next to me. Janet reacted quickly and immediately backed away. Anything unknown in the quantum realm is extremely dangerous. But when he saw the figure clearly, Janet froze on the spot. "Hank, is that you?" Wong Kai immediately replied after hearing this. "Drive Pym, I found your wife." The sound is transmitted into the laboratory. Everyone immediately cheered. "Yeah, well done. That's great." Then the cheers of the crowd were not over yet. Then I heard another trembling unfamiliar voice. "It seems impossible to believe that all of this is true. Hank, is it really you?" Strange to others, all too familiar to Dr. Hank Pym. That was the voice of the wife he had been looking for more than 10 years. Even in my dream, I can hardly remember it. But when I heard this sentence today, countless memories come to mind. This is his Janet. "Janet, it's me. I'll rescue you right away." Everything went very smoothly. Dr. Pym just finished speaking. In less than 2 seconds, Wong Kai and Janet, the wasp girl, emerged from the quantum channel. Seeing the gray-haired and aging Janet, Dr. Pym's emotions instantly lost control. He rushed into the laboratory, knocked Wong Kai away, and hugged Janet directly. Then Hope rushed up and hugged her mother. The three of them hugged each other and cried. What is left are tears of happiness. The family reunion at this moment is worth 1,000 words. Wong Kai and everyone else clapped and applauded, with a happy smile on everyone's face. The next task will be much simpler. Just need to repeat it a few more times. Just go to the quantum realm and collect enough quantum energy to heal the ghost girl. 3 days later, the ghost girl finally became history. Now I can live a normal life without relying on small pill bottles. Ava was finally free from the unimaginable pain. Thank you so much, Kai. Ava felt the complete tearing feeling disappearing from her body. Excitedly, he rushed forward and gave Wong Kai a warm hug. Then, without waiting for Wong Kai's reaction when he looked at Luna, Goliath stepped forward and hugged him. This suddenly felt a little awkward. Finally the two of them let go. Hope's family also came forward to hug and thank them. 3 people surrounded Wang Kai in the middle. It made his eyelids jump. So the Western hugging ritual is sometimes good and sometimes bad. Thank you for saving our family, Janet said gratefully. You're welcome, I also rely on you to save my own family. Dr. Pym, Dr. Banner, and Tony worked together. I think it won't take long for the time machine to be successful. After saying these polite words, Dr. Pym and his family let go of Wang Kai. Look at Luna again at this time. Then he noticed that her mouth was bulging. It seems like a small lemon was just right. It was already extremely sour. They have finished hugging each other, you can come and give them a hug too. Wang Kai smiled helplessly and said. Luna then beamed. Stark Tower, the current Avengers base. Tony is studying the extremis virus information sent by Killian. Compared with the fact that Pepper was easily cured at the end of the original plot of Iron Man 3. It is much more difficult to perfect the extremis virus serum. Even a great genius like Tony needs to spend a lot of time. But what the Avengers lack now is time. While Tony was concentrating on his research, Jarvis suddenly sent an alarm. Sir, there is an energy vortex appearing in New Mexico, exactly the same as when Thor came many times. Rainbow Bridge. Tony immediately stopped what he was doing. Jarvis, turn the surveillance in the town to see if Thor appears. A 3D screen suddenly appeared in front of the desk. Scroll above to play the live broadcast. Soon Jarvis found Thor flying from the sky. The strong man with blonde hair, silver scales, and red cloak attracted countless people in the town to watch as soon as he appeared. Jarvis, notify all Avengers to assemble. Tony knew very well. Thor definitely didn't come to Jane to fall in love at this juncture. Thanos' Chitauri army is coming. 5 minutes later. Stark Tower conference room. 9 people including Wang Kai, Luna, Thor, Tony, Rhodes, Banner, Captain America, Hawkeye, and Natasha Romanoff gathered together. At this time, I was listening to Thor describe the incident. But in fact, everyone except Thor knows the general plot. Although there are some changes in details. But after listening to it, I knew that the general direction had not changed. Loki escaped from Asgard. Heimdall saw that he had made a deal with a cosmic tyrant. He will invade Earth with an army. To sum it up, these are the 3 sentences. After Thor finished speaking, as a result, the faces of the mortals who were expected to be anxious and frightened turned out to be calm. Looking at him, his mind was filled with questions. Aren't you worried? That's an army spanning the galaxy. Invaded countless planets. More than tens of billions of lives have been killed. That's why God King Odin asked him to come to support the Earth. By the way, I brought back this unsatisfactory guy Loki. But now, aren't you scared out of your wits? Thor shouted directly to everyone. How is that possible? It's just a Chitauri army. Just blow up their mothership and that's it. Tony said nonchalantly. Others nodded in agreement. That's right, the Chitauri army is the worst army in the galaxy. Do we need to be afraid? Rhodes complained. Thor suddenly didn't know what to say. Are you kidding me? No matter how bad people are, they can still fly a spaceship across the galaxy. The Earth has been exhausted for the last moon. It's like a strong man running a marathon fighting a snail. Energy consumption determines everything. Just when Thor was wondering. Just listen to Wang Kai explain. Thor, let me tell you directly, I started preparing for this battle more than a year ago. That cosmic tyrant is called Thanos. He is the murderer who stabbed Heimdall to death, strangled Loki, and massacred half of Asgard's civilians in the future. As soon as Wang Kai finished speaking, Thor stood stunned for a moment. Expressions of shock, confusion, and anger were staged one after another in a very short period of time. Finally, he gritted his teeth and asked in a deep voice, "You'd better explain it more clearly." "This is the future as seen through divination magic," Wang Kai said coldly. "Although it is the future, I only believe that the future is created by myself. So prepare to show off at the upcoming joint. Destroy the Chitauri army first. Then go straight to Wonglong to kill this future threat." Thor was suddenly shocked. I see. No wonder they didn't take the Chitauri army seriously. When I was thinking about how to deal with the Chitauri army. This group of unpredictable mortals have already planned to turn the home game into an away game. Heading straight for Thanos' lair. But how do you get there? Thor asked. Then he saw Wong Kai put on a wide golden glove on his right hand. Use this and the space gem. Of course, in order to know where Thanos' lair is, I have to capture Loki alive. Only Loki has been there, after all. Thor was shocked again instantly. So you knew Loki would run away. I knew he would meet Thanos. That's why I said those words in Immortal Palace. After Thor figured it out, his scalp felt numb. This circle within a circle is simply terrifying. Loki thought that he could become the king here by relying on Thanos to come to Earth. But in fact it is just a navigation tool. Predicting the future is so terrifying. After a long time, Thor calmed down and said, watching everyone finally turn their attention to Wong Kai. Then what to do next, you tell me. Everyone smiled slightly. It's simple, just wait for Loki to come out from the other side of the Tesseract. Everyone is gearing up, with a strange smile on his face. And Thor seems to have seen Loki's miserable look. SHIELD Scientific Research Base. Nick Fury stepped out of the helicopter wearing a black fur coat. Coulson has been waiting for a long time. You can tell from the anxious face that something big is going on. How bad? Nick Fury looked at the base personnel who were being evacuated and asked. The worst kind, because we don't know the situation. Coulson looked helpless. He doesn't know many secrets. So we can only prepare for the worst. Evacuate all personnel first. Well done, Agent Coulson. This is exactly what we needed. Get out of the way of the battlefield. Don't affect innocent people. The elevator goes down. The two came to an underground space with huge amounts of money. The Tesseract is fixed in the center. The energy emitted is enough to be considered dangerous. Dr. Eric is making final experimental records at this time. Same as the original plot. He was still recruited by Nick Fury to study the Tesseract. Doctor, the battle is about to begin. You should evacuate quickly. Nick Fury saw Eric, who was still working hard, and advised. I heard it was Loki, the evil god from Norse mythology. A master of black magic, known as the #1 mage in the 9 realms. If these valuable scientific researchers are harmed, SHIELD will not be able to replenish its manpower for a while. Okay, no problem. Eric accepted the last piece of information, picked up the computer and ran outside without wanting anything else. In a flash, Kung Fu disappeared. He evacuated really quickly. Of course, after all, there are so many big shots around here. Coulson smiled bitterly. Looking around, I saw everyone from the Avengers and Wong Kai Luna looking at the Tesseract. There are many living legends here. Deadly agent. Legendary gods. There are also ruthless people who beat up the legendary gods. Each is terrible in his own way. Being watched by them really sent chills down my spine and made me feel uncomfortable all over. Now that I can leave, I can naturally run very fast. As soon as Loki comes out, I will take the Tesseract with me. Wong Kai said calmly. It's like asking Nick Fury for a piece of toilet paper. Besides, this is just a notification, not an inquiry. If you have any difficulties, please find a solution yourself. Nick Fury and Coulson were speechless. But there is nothing we can do. Wong Kai has already planned the path. Even the US team is very supportive. They had no choice but to give way. Otherwise, even the shield on the surface will not be able to keep it. He can only hide behind the scenes and completely disappear from public view. At this time, the Tesseract in the center suddenly became violent. The energy radiated outward is already visible to the naked eye. And it made a tingling sound. Nick Fury felt like his feet were shaking. The entire building began to tremble due to the energy emitted by the Tesseract. And the frequency is getting higher and higher. Tesseract is getting brighter and brighter. Like a square light bulb. Then there was just a buzzing sound before an energy beam tens of meters long was emitted. A circular portal formed in front of Captain America. It lasted for about a second and then disappeared. Bang! Blue energy spreads around, through the surrounding instruments, brushing across everyone's cheeks. Then it disappeared into the air. The high-spirited Loki slowly stood up holding the spiritual scepter. An evil smile makes people feel disgusted when they see it. Without waiting for him to pretend to speak, Wong Kai started the acceleration 6 consecutive rounds. Instantly turned into a blue lightning and passed by Loki. When he came back, the spiritual scepter was already in his hand. Waterfa. Loki's expression suddenly changed. Seeing Wong Kai was like seeing a ghost. Why is he so unlucky? As soon as I came out, I met a ruthless man who chopped up the destroyer armor like a vegetable. And even the spiritual scepter in his hand was taken away. That is the most crucial part of all his plans. Maybe we can discuss. Loki lowered his hands and said without confidence. At this moment, I suddenly heard a familiar shout from behind. Loki. I turned around and saw that it was Thor. Loki suddenly showed an awkward yet polite smile. Hey brother, long time no see. This is such a coincidence. Can you ask him to return my scepter to me? Thor suddenly looked disappointed. I'm here now and still want to lie to people. I'm sorry Loki, I was trying to save you. Take a step back and give up the stage to the Avengers. Tony takes the lead in driving the suit to attack. He still hasn't forgotten the last time he was attacked by a sneak attack from the destroyer armor. The palm cannons of both hands were directly smeared on Loki's face. The bang only hit the phantom. At this time, golden runes appeared on Luna's hands. After rotating continuously, pressed toward the ground. Suddenly a golden energy spread around. Loki, who was about to attack Banner as a hostage, was revealed in an instant. At this time, the two people were only 5 steps away from each other. Seeing that Loki had already acted, he simply continued to accelerate towards Banner. He must control the weakest guy first, so that I can take back my scepter. Don't come here. If you don't want me, I'll kill him. Loki successfully did it. He came behind Banner and grabbed his throat. But suddenly I heard this sentence. Oh, why are you looking for me? Banner looked helpless. He just wanted to make a splash. Loki suddenly felt something was wrong. Why can't his hand hold this thin guy with glasses? The hostage in front of him suddenly became taller. This green skin, and those rage eyes. He chose the wrong person. Before Loki could react, Hulk grabbed Loki's calf, and then performed a classic Loki 5-step throw. Bang bang bang, bang bang. The loud noise spread throughout the underground space. There were several big holes in the hard cement floor. Hulk looked at the hopeless Loki and threw him at Tony with great disgust. Then Tony fired the palm cannon again. 2 arc pulses slammed Loki into front of Rhodes. Rhodes also responded with pulse cannons with both hands. Hit the American team again. So Captain America reacted instinctively and smashed the shield aside. Loki just landed between Hawkeye and Natasha Romanoff. I can't believe someone like him had control over me. Hawkeye bent down and looked at Loki, who was about to cry, and shook his head. Just a few random kicks. But Natasha Romanoff is not so gentle. He took out the electric dart and threw it directly in Loki's face. Zzzz. High voltage current flows through Loki's body instantly. His whole body was twitching from the electric shock. Finally looking in Thor's direction for help, it turned out that his good brother actually turned his head away. Woohoo. The tears couldn't stop flowing out instantly. Poor Loki wants to ask God, why is he always so unlucky? Obviously the dream has just begun. Nick Fury, who was confused, looked at Loki, who was crying and had questions all over his face. That's it. Is he really the evil god Loki? Didn't you say the number 1 mage in the 9 realms? Wong Kai shook his head and sighed. It's weakened. I thought there would be a big battle if you mobilized all your troops. Nick Fury is slightly disappointed with this. I didn't expect Loki to be so vulnerable. I really feel like I can kill. There was indeed a war, but it wasn't here. Wong Kai threw the spiritual scepter into the system backpack. This thing is not considered a storage place. Therefore, it does not count as a check-in point. This is the only regret. In addition, in Avengers 1, the Mind Scepter also demonstrated its ability to remotely influence people's minds. To be on the safe side, throwing it into the system backpack is the best option. The next step is to create a portal to weaken the Chitauri army first. Eagle Eye went to look for production materials. Anyway, you were the ones looking for them in the original plot. Tony went to Dr. Otto and made another artificial sun bomb as a backup. Everyone nodded. There is no objection to this. Wong Kai stepped forward and took the Tesseract again. Everyone escorted Loki to the Avengers headquarters. At the same time, in order to prevent him from escaping again. This time, handcuffs, anklets, and a mask were all put on him. Everyone looked together again. Let Loki be miserable and unable to tell. 5 days later, everyone gathered on an uninhabited island in the Atlantic Ocean. The portal is manufactured. All equipment is ready. Except Wong Kai and Thor. Everyone is wearing a steel suit. Although it is not like the nanotechnology suit in Avengers 4 that can be shrunk at any time. But Tony has improved it to the point where the user can escape at any time. Then let Jarvis take control of the fight. If you include Jarvis, then there are 10 of us fighting. Captain America, wearing a steel suit, sighed. At this moment, Jarvis is also their comrade. But Tony smiled proudly. 10 people. Steve, please look up and count again. Captain America immediately raised his head and looked into the distance. I saw tiny figures suddenly appearing on the horizon. If you look carefully, they are all uniformly armored soldiers. Each one has its own characteristics. And there are many weapons mounted externally. Reflects dazzling brilliance in the sunlight. This scene shocked everyone who saw it. Are they all steel suits? That's right. Tony raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Except for wearing the same suit as you. There are also 2 steel suits equipped with PIM particles, which can expand or shrink in a short period of time. Wouldn't that look like Ant-Man? Natasha Romanoff asked with a smile. No, stronger than Ant-Man, Tony said confidently. After all the weapons on the giant steel suit have also doubled. The power is naturally incomparable. A total of 40 steel battle suits landed slowly beside everyone. Jarvis's voice also came from inside all the suits. Sir, I'm ready. Tony really made a big investment this time. Compared to the 6-person chaos in New York in Avengers 1. Now they can have a combat strength of 50 people. This also includes Wong Kai, who has a special combat power that can equal that of 10,000 people. This battle, it must shock the universe. Luna, release Loki. Luna, who was wearing a steel suit, immediately started drawing circles. A portal immediately appeared in front of everyone. Loki fell out with a whoosh. Then he slapped it hard on the ground. The bang stirred up dust all over the floor. This time he free-falled for 6 hours. The whole person has become completely numb. Loki, open the portal so we can see the Chitauri army. Wong Kai's calm words sounded. Thor stepped forward and took off Loki's mask and handcuffs. But the unfortunate second princess of Asgard stood up and just looked at everyone with a look of sorrow and anger. What on earth do you want to do? I have no enmity or grudge against you. The sound is quite miserable. Thor felt guilty after hearing this. But in order to protect Loki from being strangled to death by Thanos, he could only choose to cooperate with Wong Kai. Stop pretending, you are the god of trickery and cunning. Do you want me to use this to control you? Wong Kai was too lazy to talk nonsense and took out the spiritual scepter. Quickly step forward and tap Loki on the chest. Loki's sad and angry expression disappeared instantly. He quickly took a few steps back with a flattering smile on his face. Relax, relax, you want to cause trouble with the Chitauri army and I won't refuse. Loki had a smile on his face. My heart feels numb. I secretly think that you will know how powerful it is when the Leviathan beasts and Chitauri army airships arrive in the sky. Walking in small steps to the device that opens the portal. Just wanted to touch the Tesseract. Suddenly I heard Wong Kai say in a cold voice. If you want to use it to escape, you can try it. It takes time to use Tesseract to open the Trumpet's portal. Even though it's less than 1 second. But it was enough for Wong Kai to drag Loki out and beat him up. Loki felt a chill in his heart after hearing this. I had no choice but to turn around and say with a smile, how could that be? I am sincerely cooperating with you. He really didn't have this idea just now. Meet as planned. He only needs to use the Tesseract to create a stable large-scale portal to allow the Chitauri army to come to Earth. When the time comes, when these guys who overestimate their capabilities fail, he is still the king here. Then now, I will open the portal. Loki looked at Wong Kai. Slowly place your hand on the Tesseract. Everyone saw the Tesseract tingling. Then the transmission equipment buzzed. And the voice is getting louder and louder. Suddenly a blue energy pillar shot into the sky, spreading suddenly at a height of about 100 or 200 meters from the uninhabited island. A huge, deep blue space portal appeared in everyone's eyes. On the other side is the dark space of space. Numerous Chitauri troops are vaguely visible. Jarvis. Tony looked at the portal and roared. In an instant, all the unmanned steel suits took off. A deafening roar erupted in unison. All weapon systems are turned on. Shoulder Hive mini missiles. Arm anti-tank missile. wrist laser weapon, arc pulse cannon, chest cluster cannon, plus all kinds of missiles and lasers mounted. Truly armed to the teeth. A small Chidori army has just emerged. All the missiles launched by the Iron Legion were destroyed. Boom boom boom. There is a constant roar in the sky. Like fireworks being set off. The Chidori airships bloomed one after another. And Loki's jaw almost dropped when he saw all this. Thanos' army. It seems not as powerful as he said. Luna, lock Loki back up. As soon as Wong Kai finished speaking. Just listen to Loki yelling hurriedly. No, wait a minute. Before Loki could finish speaking, he fell into the golden portal again. How long the free fall will take this time depends on when Wong Kai and the others end the battle. Eliminate future troubles today. A swirling white mist suddenly appeared around Wong Kai. And accompanied by bursts of electric light shining. Wrap him up completely. Then everyone only heard a roar that penetrated the clouds and cracked the rocks. The thundercloud exploded with a sound. A giant blue dragon rises on the wind. Go straight to the space portal. Oh, God. Everyone in the Avengers felt that they would never forget this scene in their lifetime. That is actually the giant dragon in Eastern mythology. How many secrets does Kai hide? But Tony was the only one who looked unhappy. He put so much effort into creating the grand scene of the Iron Legion. As a result, Wong Kai stole the limelight with a transformation. It made his eyelids jump and he was speechless. What are you still looking at? Brother Kai is about to enter the portal. Luna took off into the sky wearing a steel suit. After taking one look at the Avengers, everyone immediately followed them. Only then did the others react. One after another, they flew into the sky in their suits. Thor also gathered his attention and turned the hammer. Swinging upwards, he was carried flying into the sky. And outside the uninhabited island, S.H.I.E.L.D. came out in full force to surround the island and completely blockade it. No one is allowed to enter for any reason. This is a day that affects the life and death of countless lives on Earth. But most people don't know. All the years are quiet and good, and there are people who bear the burden and move forward. On the battlefield, Wong Kai has led everyone in the Avengers through the portal to the other side. A dozen giant leviathan beasts like pee-pee shrimps are flying towards the portal. In addition, there are groups of densely packed Chidori airships accompanying the surroundings. A sparse and long troop transport line was formed. And at the end of this troop transport line, it's Thanos' spaceship, Temple 1. It is also the mothership of the Chidori army. Just blow up this spider-shaped eye-shaped spaceship. The Chidori army will all die. There is no need for everyone to communicate. The battle plan is already well known. The only option now is to attack. Go straight to Temple 1. Click. A streak of cyan thunder went straight to the Leviathan beast at the front. It turned out to be spit out from the mouth of the green dragon transformed by Wong Kai. Everyone saw the green thunder striking the Leviathan beast in the blink of an eye. The Leviathan beast, which was almost the same as Stark Tower, was blown out of a big hole in an instant. The internal organs and flesh and blood were immediately exposed. The Leviathan was almost cut in half. When Wong Kai saw this, he flew forward and immediately transformed into a human form. The immortal demonic body is activated. Awakening begins. The rage begins. True damage enchantment. 100-meter-long blue sword instantly appeared next to Leviathan. Wong Kai exploded with all his strength and slashed downward. I saw the roar of a huge green dragon faintly visible in the light of the sword. Carrying the selfless and constant momentum, it instantly split the Leviathan beast into 2 pieces. It's too weak, let's try it without being injured. Wong Kai thought to himself. Then thunder and lightning broke out again. The cyan dragon reappears. Rushed towards the next Leviathan. The other side. Tony and others are not as direct and reckless as Wong Kai. The laser fired by the Chidori airship poses no threat to Qinglong. But it still has a certain destructive effect on the steel suit. At this time, the commanders of the Chidori army had discovered the ants flying from the other side of the portal. Begin to concentrate your efforts to deal with them. 4 Chidori airship squadrons with nearly 400 people. Driving an airship is like locusts coming across the border. Tony and others did not panic when they saw this. Instead, act according to the battle plan. A feminine steel suit immediately flew in front of everyone. Put your hands together and push forward. A huge golden translucent magic shield appeared that protected everyone. Block all the Chidori airship's torrential laser fire. And Thor has already gathered energy. Countless rays of sparkling and leaping thunder flashed on the hammer. And the dancing electric light is getting thicker and more violent. When reaching the highest energy, Thor aimed at the flying Chidori airship and released it all. Rumble. Everyone seemed to hear thunder exploding. But actually nothing is heard. In an instant, a thunderbolt as thick as a thigh was released. Carrying violent energy, he instantly rushed into the airship group. Then in the blink of an eye, the thunder branched into countless curved branches. Penetrate and detonate airships one after another. Like chain lightning, destroyed all incoming airships with just one strike. And explosions of fireworks also lit up in space. Well done, Tony shouted excitedly in the voice channel. This way they shouldn't be able to charge in groups. Really, Tony just finished speaking. Immediately, several more groups of Chidori airship troops flew in. Only this time it became a swarm of bees and spread out. Plan to surround everyone 360 degrees without blind spots. Very good, execute the second combat plan. The crowd immediately dispersed. At the same time, they rushed towards the mothership of Temple Number 1. Only 5 unmanned steel suits were left in place to guard the portal entrance. The best defense is offense. Of course they understand this. When I woke up, the battlefield changed from the ground to space. Captain America, wearing a blue and red steel suit, sighed. Take out the shield equipped with a magnetic recovery device from the back. Blue fire shot out from under his feet. He spotted a Chidori airship and rushed straight up. With a single swing of one hand, the shield smashed into the body of the Chidori soldier with such tremendous force. Then the US team immediately followed up with a palm cannon to disperse the soldiers. As soon as you reach out, the shield will be magnetically retrieved and returned directly to your hand. At this time, other airship laser cannons attacked. Captain America immediately flew away to avoid. At the same time, use shield to block incoming lasers. And the Chidori airship just exploded in the laser design. Try Tony's missiles. Captain America looked at the 4 airships chasing after him and raised his right hand. A heavy missile on the arm popped out from under the armor. The flames shot out from the tail were as fast as lightning and flew straight towards the airship in the blink of an eye. A flash of light and an explosion of flames. 4 more beautiful fireworks bloomed in the universe. It would be nice if I could use a bow and arrow. Hawkeye complained silently in his heart. His exclusive weapon, space combat, is useless. So he had to use the red high-energy laser on his arm as an arrow. Facing the high-speed Chidori airship, it can also easily penetrate the heads of the Chidori soldiers riding above. Natasha Romanoff is the seducer type. Even in battle, driving the suit through the enemy troops. The airship following behind accidentally injured many of our own people. Dr. Banner compares Buddhism. The space station is even more clueless. So the suit was directly handed over to Jarvis for control. In comparison, Rhodes is much more vicious. Because the arc reactor is also made of new elements. While the energy is greatly increased, the laser cannons on the shoulders were changed to 2. Continuously shoot out beams of destruction in all directions. Coupled with the indiscriminate pouring of wrist machine guns and missiles. Colonel Rhodes drove the war machine and blew up almost everywhere he went. There was a string of fire along the flight path. And the same goes for Tony. When Wong Kai slashed a Leviathan beast, he knew they would win this battle. Therefore, there is no concern about energy consumption. Directly using the most powerful laser weapon. The 3 red laser beams on his wrists continuously flashed across the necks of the Chidori airship and the soldier. Like a death ray, slowly approaching their goal. Temple 1. If you want to ask, besides Wong Kai, who else can serve as the MVP of this battle? Then there is only one person. Luna. One move of Icon's form. In an instant, dense and overwhelming duplication appeared. Every duplication wears Tony's steel suit. Start drawing a circle in place in space. Then a magical scene appeared. The battlefield is full of golden portals that are constantly opening and closing. The Chidori airships were cut in half one after another. Even the soldiers on top are not immune. The exploding fireworks bloomed one after another. Broken limbs and broken arms were flying everywhere. For a moment, everyone in the Avengers was stunned. Wong Kai slashed a Leviathan beast. We have to cut down to the gate of the temple. Luna circled a Chidori airship. Thousands of circles circle everyone to death like a curse. Road couldn't help but complain when he saw this. What a cruel pair. Tony, do you feel that we are redundant? Tony, who was flying towards Temple 1 at this time, didn't even notice what was happening behind him. When I looked back, my eyes almost popped out. After holding it in for a long time, I shouted 2 words. NB. His 40 steel battlesuits are just there to accompany him. It's the background board composed of Qian ability. This made Tony, who has always been pushy, wonder if he should give up and keep up with these 2. He is a genius, but Wong Kai and Luna are monsters. Shake your head to drive the distracting thoughts out of your mind. I heard Captain America suddenly speak on the voice channel. No one is redundant. If they alone can solve Thanos. Why did Kai call us? Victory is in sight now. Don't let down. We still want to go home safe and sound and realize our dreams. Captain America's words instantly boosted the morale of the entire Avengers Alliance. Everyone must be 120% alert. Let's fight towards Temple Number 1 together. Wong Kai went ahead to clean up the elite monsters. Fu Lian was doing fancy strokes in the middle. Luna is responsible for the main carry at the back. In less than 10 minutes, the Chidori army was slaughtered by everyone. Temple 1 no longer sends Leviathan beasts out of the station. Just release countless fly-shaped dark spaceships to obstruct. And the commander of the mothership is already thinking about evacuating through space jump. But unfortunately, it's already too late. Wong Kai has killed the last Leviathan beast. Arriving in front of Temple No. 1. Although visually Temple Number 1 is countless times larger than the Qinglong incarnated by Wong Kai. But everyone feels that the Cyan Dragon is obviously stronger. In a flash of light, the blue dragon transformed into a human being. The bright blue long hair is tied behind the head. A phantom of a blue dragon surrounds me. Fly from your feet to the sky. Even in the void, there was a roar that shocked the soul. A mortal demon body. Wong Kai carries huge amounts of cyan magic blade. Explode all your power. Start awakening and rage. Speed up the 6th company. Real damage. Even with almost full critical hits, it also has Grandmaster's extra damage. It turned into a stream of blue light and flew towards Temple No. 1. Then slash it with a knife. The phantom of the green dragon suddenly appeared in the light of the 100-meter sword. Then he went straight into Temple No. 1. There was no explosion. But everyone knows the horror of this knife. Temple Number 1 was torn open with a big hole. The vacuum suction force causes spacecraft materials to continuously fly out from inside. Like a sandbag with a slit cut out. Continuously spray debris outwards. Wong Kai stabbed him down. The Temple 1 spacecraft was damaged. Jumping through space now is tantamount to committing suicide. I couldn't escape even if I wanted to. At this time, Luna and everyone from the Avengers finally caught up. I was amazed by the spaceship that looked like a fortress in the sky. Kay, do you want to use an artificial sun to blow up the spaceship? Tony asked in the channel. Wong Kai thought for a moment and shook his head in denial. Although he can survive in space in the state of his immortal demon body. But I can't breathe. Talking was even less possible. This Temple Number 1 is just a simple troop transport ship. Not even a protective cover or external artillery. Unlike Thanos Temple 2, which is equipped with various weapons. There is also an energy shield and threat warning. It was a real war fortress. It is also the home base of Thanos, who controls the universe. Waving his hands to signal everyone to stay away. Wong Kai holds knives in both hands. Tony and others knew at that time that he was interested again. They had no choice but to clean up the escaped Leviathan beasts and other miscellaneous soldiers. I saw Wong Kai holding up the cyan magic blade with both hands. The light of the 100-meter sword suddenly appeared again. And they continued to attack Temple No. 1. For a moment, the commander in Temple Number 1 was panicked. In desperation, he had to give the order to abandon the ship and escape. A final message was also sent to Temple 2. Humans are not weak. Raging flames began to spread on Temple 1. And with every strike of Wong Kai's sword, it will burn more vigorously in the tremor. Then there was an explosion. It also exploded after the irresistible sword light. Wong Kai chopped with all his strength again and again. Until the 10th knife. Only then did he finally cut Temple Number 1 in half. At the same time, due to the violent big explosion, Temple 1 also began to disintegrate, turn into the most indispensable space junk in the universe. The Avengers and Luna were on the periphery to suppress the survivors who escaped from Temple 1. Invading countless planets, killing countless lives. There will be retribution. The battle ended 30 minutes later. Temple Number 1 was destroyed by the group. Wong Kai cuts off Thanos' arm. Everyone returned to Earth through the portal. Except for the loss of 5 unmanned steel suit and 10 damaged ones, there were no other losses. Compared with the heavy losses in the Battle of New York, they have taken this crisis to the extreme. What a pity. Tony smacked his lips and said with a smile. We saved humanity, but not many people know about it. They only know that the years are quiet and peaceful, but they don't know that anyone is carrying a heavy burden and moving forward. Natasha Romanoff heard something in Tony's words. He immediately looked at Tony with a charming smile. What exactly do you want to say? Tony smiled mysteriously. It's easy. I want to make the Avengers into a movie. Just act according to the original plot. The characters don't change either. Let everyone around the world know about this battle. Know that there are people carrying the burden forward. Tony finished speaking confidently, but everyone rolled their eyes. They don't know Tony yet. This is just him trying to be in the limelight again. If you can't compete in reality, then you can compete in movies. When the time comes, I will definitely strengthen myself crazily and then weaken others. Create a perfect savior Iron Man. Don't you still want to star in it yourself? Wong Kai asked with a smile. I watched Avengers and Avengers, and it seemed pretty good. How is this possible? I don't have time. I just write the script. Tony smiled evilly, but Wong Kai did not object to his film project. It's just a movie. If you want to enjoy yourself, go and enjoy yourself. Okay, after this battle, everyone will rest for 2 days. After 2 days, we will go to clear the boss Thanos. Give Tony time to repair the iron suit. Everyone immediately dispersed. Wong Kai put away the portal device and returned home with Luna. Although it feels like I have forgotten something. But he didn't care for a moment. It wasn't until 2 hours later that Thor remembered that his dear brother Loki was still falling. After coming to the door specially, Luna released Loki. When will you send me to Asgard? Loki asked with a cry. I miss my cell there now. Thor was a little embarrassed when he saw this. Wong Kai and Luna wanted to laugh a little bit. As the evil god Loki lives a life with no limits. But as a man of trickery and cunning, Loki is still very responsible. Aren't you sorry that we didn't die at the hands of the Chitauri army? How is it possible? How can I get out of that infinite fall if you are dead? Loki's face suddenly changed into a smile. But Thor's face darkened. He was deceived again. So you defeated the Chitauri army? Loki asked with a wicked smile. Wong Kai did not answer. Instead, a video is played directly. This was recorded by Tony himself. There are all shocking scenes of him killing everyone. Probably for bragging rights. I sent a copy to Avengers, Wong Kai and Luna. Loki's expression changed as soon as he saw it. My eyelids are twitching even more. Thanos actually lied to him. His army is clearly vulnerable, right? Congratulations to you. Loki suddenly changed his face again and said with a smile. Then should you let me go? You can't go looking for the master of the Chitauri army. That person doesn't even look down on Asgard. Wong Kai smiled contemptuously after hearing this. Don't take it seriously. Although Thanos can beat Hulk with his bare hands, the purple-skinned defense has both physical and magical defense. But if you really fight with Odin, you will definitely get beaten. There is no doubt about this. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken advantage of Odin's death to immediately go to Xandar to take back the Power Stone. Then he started his finger-snapping plan. You're wrong, Loki, we are going to kill Thanos. Thor said in a deep voice. By the way, he also told the story of Loki being strangled to death by Thanos in the future. Loki's eyes opened slightly after hearing this. The expressions on his face are extremely rich. After all, anyone who hears about the way he died will feel resentful. Even God is no exception. But within 2 seconds, Loki returned to his original state. I can take you to find him, but I have a condition. Loki smiled evilly and said, I feel like I have caught them. But Wong Kai is not used to it. He took out the Mind Scepter and placed it in front of Loki. Do you want this? Loki's eyes lit up. Just when I was about to speak, my vision went dark. It was actually controlled by Wong Kai with the spiritual scepter. You should also have a taste of being controlled. Wong Kai smiled and said. Then he turned his attention to Thor. Don't worry, as long as you give Loki a good beating, this mind-controlling effect will disappear. Beat me, is it that simple? Thor wondered. Wong Kai suddenly had a bad idea in his mind. Well, it's that simple. It just has to be the kind that knocks you out. So be more ruthless, Thor. Wong Kai said the word ruthless very strongly. I believe Thor can understand what he means. 2 days later. It's still the same uninhabited island. Everyone gathered together again. The portal is opened again by Loki. But they unexpectedly came up short. Looking at the empty dark space, everyone's mind is filled with questions. Is Loki lying to us? No, he is controlled by the spiritual scepter and will never disobey my orders. Wong Kai thought about it and roughly guessed the possibility. Either the Tesseract is targeting a fixed teleportation point. Although Thanos met Loki at this place last time. But after such a long time, the person has already run away. Naturally, this place became empty. Don't worry, I have a solution. Everyone returned to the desert island again. Wong Kai closed the transmission device. Then he used the immortal demonic body to take out the Tesseract. The left hand shining with cyan light tightly grasps the Tesseract. Then Wong Kai slowly increased his strength. A sound like cracking glass suddenly sounded. Everyone's expressions changed and they were about to stop them. With a bang, the Tesseract was crushed into pieces by Wong Kai. Push away the white powder-like glass in the palm of your hand. A blue gem lay quietly in the palm of my hand. Space stone. Wong Kai looked at this treasure that existed before the Big Bang and whispered to himself. Then he took out the Infinity Gauntlet from the system backpack and put it on his right hand. Then he pressed the space gem into the hole on his middle finger. Ding! Everyone heard a faint crisp sound. Then suddenly I saw colorful energy lines shining all over Wong Kai's body. The power of the space gem is rapidly being transmitted to the whole body. As one of the most powerful treasures in the universe. Not everyone is worthy of using it. Facing the sudden onslaught of energy. Wong Kai had already made preparations. I just didn't expect it to be so violent. The pain, as if all the cells in the body were being torn apart, swept through the whole body in an instant. No wonder Thanos roars in pain when inlaid. Brother Kai, are you okay? Luna was very worried when she saw this. Anxiety is all written on his face. But Wong Kai didn't hear it at this time. He felt as if his soul had ascended to heaven. Just like that time when I used the vision potion. But this time it rose higher and higher, and soon separated from the earth. The blue stars also gradually moved away, leaving the solar system and the Milky Way. Until you see the entire universe. Now, he can go wherever he wants. Everywhere in the entire universe is within one step of him. This is a space gem. The concept of distance is completely invalid for space gems. Ho, ho. After taking a few deep breaths, Wong Kai withdrew from that ethereal state. Luna was already in front of her now. He was so worried that he almost went to find Ancient One. Don't worry, I'm fine. Wong Kai showed a soft smile like a spring breeze. As long as you can withstand the energy of the infinite stones. Such painful things will never happen again. Let's go to Asgard and find Heimdall. Wong Kai said resolutely. Heimdall has eyes that see all things. And he can now go anywhere in the universe. By working together, you can easily find Thanos. Hold the Infinity Gauntlet tightly in your right hand. Blue gems light up. As soon as my mind moved, a portal appeared. Gray thunderclouds storm gleaming at the edges. On the other side is the Asgard communication room. Everyone passed through the portal. Not too much nonsense. Wong Kai ordered Loki to go to Asgard prison and squat there. Then he told the purpose of coming. Heimdall was also very cheerful. Turn around and look. In less than a second, I saw the purple sweet potato spirit. Thanos is killing half of all life on a planet right now. This is truly a human tragedy. Heimdall suppressed his voice and said. He closed his eyes as if he didn't want to see that purgatory scene again. Everyone else's hearts tightened after hearing this. Everyone in the Avengers who are familiar with the plot is very aware of Thanos' self-deceptive theory. I kill you for the good of the universe. You are so awesome. Typical brain retardation plus mental retardation. Where is he? Wang Kai asked in a deep voice. It's time to send the cosmic tyrant Dazishu to witness his own death. K. Langsing, a primitive and vibrant planet. Kellen people are diligent, intelligent, peaceful and united. Large-scale wars have rarely occurred since recorded history. Although civilization is not yet developed and the atmosphere of our own planet has not yet been broken through. But the lives of more than 1 billion Kellen people on the entire planet are full of prosperity and happiness. And today, this peace-loving race has faced a disaster. An angular space fortress descended from the clouds. A single artillery salvo destroyed the planet's most advanced weapons. The missiles launched subsequently destroyed all the few aircraft. From then on, K. Langsing was no longer able to fight back. Caught in an extremely cruel massacre. At this time, Thanos wears golden armor, standing under Temple Number 1 with a double-edged broadsword in hand. The wrinkled purple face is neither sad nor happy. Looking at the masses of death, there is only kindness in the eyes. As if what he brought was not death and destruction, but rebirth and hope. A Q-shaped spaceship that looks like a donut flies in the sky. There is also the familiar pee-pee shrimp Leviathan beast, continuously shooting blue laser cannons to ravage the earth. Destroy all the temples, altars, palaces and other buildings built by the Klingon people. There were screams and smoke everywhere. Corpses and blood littered the ground. Right now, the world is better than hell. Mom, let go of my mother. A blue-skinned little boy furiously bit at the Chitauri soldier that his mother was dragging on the ground. But he couldn't make the other party stop at all. At this time, the little boy saw a broken spear abandoned by the roadside. So he immediately ran forward and picked up the spear. He clenched his hands and stabbed at the Chitauri soldier. Give me my mother back. The little boy shouted loudly. Although the voice is childish, but it shows extraordinary courage. Roar. The Chitauri soldiers don't care about their age or gender when they see this. He roared at the little boy and raised the spear and laser gun in his hand. Then he stabbed it directly, seeing that the child was about to be killed by the crazy Chitauri soldiers. Suddenly there was a loud bang. The head of the Chitauri soldier disappeared. Then the Chitauri soldier's body was torn in half with a stab. Wang Kai showed up with his hands torn apart by Chitauri soldiers. The little boy was suddenly shocked. The spear in his hand also fell unconsciously. Good boy. Wang Kai smiled slightly and touched the head of the blue-skinned alien child. Then he walked straight towards Thanos. The rescued mother quickly took her child and ran away. From time to time he looked back at the tall figure. Thanos. Wang Kai looked up to the sky and roared. Use your immortal demonic body to jump directly into the air with a kick of your feet. Then he aimed at the Chitauri team that was charging towards him and slashed them with his sword. Boom! The green 100-meter sword appeared instantly. It fell to the ground and exploded like thunder. Wang Kai killed hundreds of Chitauri soldiers with one strike. Then a deafening roar spread throughout the battlefield, attracting the attention of countless people. Among them are Thanos and his 4 obsidian generals. Ebony Maw, General Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, and Black Dwarf came from all directions on the battlefield. Wang Kai was soon surrounded in the middle. The surrounding area is surrounded by a dense army of Chitauri. There are Leviathan beasts and donut spaceships in the sky, staring eagerly at them. All the laser cannons were aimed at him. The situation does not look promising. On Thanos' side, I was also surprised when I saw Wang Kai cutting out a 100-meter-long crack. Is there such a strong person on this planet? But unfortunately, no matter how strong you are only one person. I admire you, young man. Thanos looked at Wang Kai and said slowly. We have no grudge. Submit to me and become my subordinate, you have no way to escape. As soon as Thanos finished speaking, his men began to approach gradually. Ebony Throat turned his hands. The bricks and stones beneath your feet arched up and floated in the air. Then it condensed into spiked stone cones, all aimed at Wang Kai in the center. Proxima Midnight and General Corvus Glaive also raised their weapons. The spears in the hands of the 2 men lit up with white light. You can fire powerful lasers at any time. The largest black dwarf even picked up the giant scythe in his hand and waved it randomly in front of him. There was a loud bang when it hit the hard stone bricks on the ground. Then he screamed and roared at Wong Kai, facing the threat of Thanos. Wong Kai just smiled contemptuously. Just, you call me Thanos? You purple sweet potato girl, do you know who I am? He raised his right hand and instantly a golden glove was put on it. Thanos's expression suddenly changed when he saw this. Without waiting for him to ask. Then I saw a huge portal appearing behind Wong Kai. Thundercloud storms rage on the edge. Tony and others slowly walked out from the other side. At the same time, more than 30 unmanned steel suits also flew out. Everyone looks at Thanos with eyes full of hostility. It seems like they have a deep hatred. But Thanos looked at everyone's faces. After thinking for a long time, I couldn't think of where I had seen these people. Who are you? I don't know you at all. When you die, you will know. Wong Kai said coldly. Each of us is looking for an opponent. It's still the same as before, leaving no one behind. The portal disappeared immediately. The Infinity Gauntlet is also included in the system backpack. Wong Kai transformed into a green dragon and rode the wind straight to Temple No. 2. In order to prevent the old thief Thanos from escaping, we have to get rid of this space war fortress first. But before Wong Kai approaches, the energy warning system of Temple 2 will automatically activate. Lock on Wong Kai, the biggest threat, and launch locking missiles and laser cannons. Boom boom boom. In an instant, missiles and artillery were flying toward Wong Kai. Densely packed like a violent storm, blocking all escape routes. Temple 2 in Avengers 4 used this early warning mechanism to deal with Captain Marvel flying from outer space. But Captain Marvel's attack and defense attributes are max. He didn't dodge or dodge, he just smashed through the entire spacecraft. Wong Kai has no intention of repeating this behavior. I saw him facing the missiles and lasers that were surrounded by him and activated the 6th battery of acceleration. Instantly transformed into cyan lightning and easily escaped from the trap. Then he paused deliberately to wait for the missile to catch up. Fly all the way to Temple 2. Open your mouth and spit out an extremely thick cyan lightning. Only then did he transform into a human and descend to open his immortal demonic body. Boom! Lightning and tracking missiles exploded on Temple 2 one after another. Then the 100-meter sword appeared. Wong Kai stood on Temple number 2 and made continuous cross slashes. There was a continuous sound of explosions on Temple 2. Wong Kai's original cyan magic blade is no longer used. An endless war blade in one hand. Turn on all buffs. Crazily unleashing his self-created skills on Temple 2. Dad Kai's cross-cut. Vow to dismantle this spaceship that is bigger than Temple 1. Send a necromancer spaceship to attack that man. Upon seeing this, Thanos immediately commanded. Release all forces. Release the Leviathan beasts and Vanguard guards. Then a strange scene appeared. Countless small spaceships shaped like flies flew onto Temple 2. Continuously fire blue laser cannons to attack Wong Kai. But Wong Kai didn't dodge this time. Let the laser cannons pour down like a torrential rain. You will be drowned in the blink of an eye. Boom boom boom. Continuous explosions resounded through the sky. The flames and impact instantly drowned Wong Kai's sword-wielding figure. But before Thanos is happy, the sound of the cross sword slashing appeared again. Boom. The violent shock wave blew away the flames and smoke. Wong Kai remained motionless, continued to destroy Temple No. 2. In front of the immortal demonic body up to level 29. The damage from the small spaceship's laser cannon is like scratching an itch. The battlefield below. All the unmanned steel suits poured out firepower wantonly under the control of Jarvis. Destroy all Chitauri armies in sight. Tony also understood that this might be the last battle. So the order given to Jarvis is that even if the ammunition is exhausted, the energy is exhausted. Also keep fighting. Even if it detonates the unmanned steel suit, we will die together. The war has completely begun. Tony and Rhodes drove the suits to the sky above Proxima Midnight and General Corvus Glaive. It's up to them to solve these problems. Tony, don't be careless this time. After Rhodes finished speaking, he took the lead in attacking. And it's a blast as soon as it comes up. The 2 laser cannons on the shoulders aimed at General Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight and fired destructive beams. At the same time, the shoulder missiles also launched all the mini-missiles. Plus wrist machine guns and grenades. Arm-piercing missile. General Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight were drowned in the sea of fire almost instantly. The two of them could only flee in embarrassment. There is almost no chance to fight back. How can you make the same mistake twice? When Tony saw this, he was naturally unwilling to fall behind others. Drive the suit to catch up with General Corvus Glaive. 3 red laser beams were immediately fired from the wrist. General Corvus Glaive tried to dodge, but it was too late. He was about to die under the laser. But suddenly he flew sideways to avoid it. He was actually saved by his lover Proxima Midnight. But although the red laser did not hit him, but it hit Proxima Midnight. The opponent's abdomen was instantly burned with a huge wound. Then Tony didn't hesitate at all. The red laser tore Proxima Midnight apart as soon as he raised his arm. No! General Corvus Glaive roared in pain when he saw this. Desperately coming to Proxima Midnight. But in the next second, they were overwhelmed by missiles jointly launched by Tony and Rhodes. Boom! Fire shot into the sky. Proxima Midnight and the death of General Corvus Glaive. This side of Ebony Throat. As the most loyal subordinate to Thanos. His telekinesis is very strong. He can control most materials. But unfortunately the response was too slow. You can easily defeat him in the face of sudden attacks. So it's Hawkeye and Black Widow who deal with him. I saw Natasha Romanoff flying into the sky wearing a steel suit and firing shoulder-hive missiles. 30 mini-missiles the size of a pinky file flew towards the Ebony Throat. However, he easily pushed them and scattered them to both sides and exploded. The firelight momentarily obscured his vision. But Hawkeye suddenly appeared at this time. Aim at the Ebony Throat and fire the arm laser based on the previous position. A red laser shoots through the flames. Even if you don't see the octopus's face behind the flames. Hawkeye also knows they have won. Ebony Maw did not escape Hawkeye's sneak attack. A small hole was opened in the head by a high-energy laser. Become the third of the 4 Obsidian generals to die. And the last of the 4 Black Glory generals. Black Dwarf. At this time, he is fighting Banner. Hey, you all come and help me. Banner wore a steel suit and fought extremely hard with the 3-meter-long Black Dwarf. After all, Jarvis has to control so many steel suits at the same time. Fighting minions is okay. It is more difficult to deal with this kind of elite monster. I saw Black Dwarf looking at Banner flying in the sky and yelling. Then he aimed in the direction of Banner's flight and threw his sickle-shaped weapon. Black Dwarf is powerful. Not even the power of anti-Hulk armor can suppress him. The powerful and heavy giant scythe is extremely fast. It instantly turned into a stream of light and hit Dr. Banner. And at the same time, the mechanism on the giant scythe was activated. He was locked with a bang. Dr. Banner is trapped in the suit. Upon seeing this, Black Dwarf immediately retracted the chain on the giant scythe. Caught Dr. Banner in front of him. With a ferocious smile on his face. We need to catch Dr. Banner in the steel suit. Ah, leave it to you, Hulk. Roar. Suddenly a wild roar came from inside the suit. The steel suit automatically disintegrates into parts in an instant. And Hulk got out of it. A fist almost as big as a basketball hit Black Dwarf hard on the chin. Boom. This punch is powerful and heavy. Almost 100 tons of power. Almost knocked off Black Dwarf's jaw with one punch. The thick-skinned Black Dwarf was instantly dizzy. And when Hulk saw this, it was impossible to let this go. He stepped forward and punched me in the eye again. Smash Black Dwarf directly to the ground. Then he rode on the big black guy. Punch after punch, hitting the head hard. The ground trembled one after another as if there was an earthquake. And the bricks and stones beneath them were shattered. The two of them gradually sank into a deep pit. In no time, the heavily armored warrior Black Dwarf was beaten to death by the Hulk. Thanos Obsidian 4 will all die now. And it happened almost at the same time. It was also at this time. The battle between Thor and Captain America and Thanos is already in full swing. Thor was the first to attack. Although there is no powerful crushing of the six-jeweled Thanos at the end of Avengers 3 at this time. But at least he won't suffer when facing Thanos' sword. Holding Thor's hammer in hand to unleash lightning. But he only managed to knock the purple sweet potato spirit back a few steps. Thanos threw a double-edged broadsword against the lightning strike. The latter spins in an arc like a boomerang and hits Thor. The person who was hit by Thor was knocked over on his back. The lightning suddenly disappeared. The double-edged sword has also returned to Thanos' hands. But the attack is not over yet. Captain America, who can fight anyone 50-50, wears a steel suit and throws shields as well. Then aim at Thor's hammer and reach out. As if the call of fate from somewhere, Thor's hammer instantly came to the hands of Captain America wearing a steel suit. I saw Captain America holding Thor's hammer high. A thick bolt of lightning fell straight down. Hit as not Thanos, but himself. The energy of the steel suit instantly exploded. Then Captain America puffed up his chest, fires an extremely thick cluster cannon from the chest. The cluster cannon, which was almost as thick as a bucket, instantly knocked Thanos away. Thor was even more stunned when he saw this scene. Not shocked by the use of Thor's hammer, but Captain America can actually lift Thor's hammer. Mortals lift up the weapons of gods. This is simply unimaginable. Sorry, I borrowed your weapon. Captain America opened his mask and revealed a bright smile. Seeing this, Thor could only say awkwardly, "You should turn it and swing it out, instead of charging it like this. Anyone who is qualified to use it can obtain the power of Thor." Odin told Captain America to release lightning with just one word. It also illustrates the terror of God King Odin from the side. Well, you have a point. Captain America fully agrees. It's just that now wearing the steel suit, the movements are definitely not as flexible as usual. You will definitely suffer a loss against a master of close combat like Thanos. Besides, their battle plan is a mindless long-range attack. Let Thanos not be able to hit them. It's better to just pick up the hammer and go straight to it. Give the hammer back to Thor. Captain America took back his shield again. The two of them continued to attack Thanos. On the battlefield at this time, everyone is dealing with their own opponent. Wong Kai is stealing crystals. The Avengers were besieging the 5 enemies. Luna, on the other hand, is the one who handles the soldier line. All Chidori army minions, as well as artillery vehicles, hover tanks, super soldiers, Leviathan beasts, and even wild monsters, Vanguard army, need to be contained by Luna alone. So the bug-like form of Icon came online again. Thousands of duplications filled the entire battlefield. The rotating golden portal keeps appearing and closing quickly. Cut the hover tanks and airship troops into 2 pieces. This trick has been tried and tested on the cosmic battlefield. It is also very practical inside the planet. And those cruel and unconscious Vanguard troops. Although it comes like a black tide, it seems impressive. But it was easily defeated by the Bossat Thunder released by Luna. Hundreds of Lunas released arm-thick golden red lightning that jumped and crisscrossed the ground. It actually formed a dense power grid. With the continuous loud noises, all the Vanguard guards were blown up to death. In Avengers 3, there are so many black-skinned monsters that make people's scalp numb. Just like that, he was easily submerged in the golden red lightning. As for those clumsy flying Leviathan beasts, just draw a big circle. These super soldiers, who had to take a lot of trouble to turn in any direction, got in awkwardly. The subsequent outcome was to be cut in half. It's faster than Wong Kai's swordsmanship. At this time, Tony and others had just finished dealing with the 4 Obsidian generals. Looking at the battlefield where the overall situation has been decided, I can't help but feel excited. Jarvis, use PIM particles to enter giant form to clean out the last Leviathan beast. Tony gives orders to Jarvis. The 2 unmanned steel warriors in the air doubled in response. In the blink of an eye, it became more than 20 meters tall. He fired arm-piercing bullets directly at the few Leviathan beasts left. The missile that was originally only the size of a pen file instantly became the same as a medium-sized missile. Just one shot blasted the Leviathan beast into 2 pieces. The roar and shock wave caused by the explosion shocked the entire audience. Suddenly attracted the attention of countless people. And Tony enjoyed this kind of attention the most. But suddenly, an even bigger roar appeared. Temple number 2 was stabbed dozens of times by Wong Kai. 2 more cat bombs were thrown into it, eventually causing a big explosion in the air. A translucent air wall visible to the naked eye is formed and spreads around. The sky was full of flames and even the earth was dyed red under the sunlight. This war fortress that had accompanied Thanos for decades began to fall from the sky and disintegrate. Finally, his mission has ended. Even Thanos was slightly sad when he saw this. He knows, his own end is likely to come just like this spaceship. Boom, Temple number 2 crashed into an open space not far away. Then there was another explosion. The spaceship completely fell apart. The internal materials are thrown out like a volcanic eruption. All that was left was the burning wreckage. The number of Chidori troops on the battlefield is getting smaller and smaller. As Wong Kai said, leave no one behind. At this time, Captain America and Thor are still fighting Thanos. Then Tony joined in. After that came Rhodes, Hawkeye, Hulk, Natasha Romanoff. The righteous gang fight begins. Hulk has the hottest temper, knowing that you are surrounded by teammates and cannot fight. Then he directed all his anger on Thanos. In one move, Hulk punches the ground with both fists. A big crack was created and Thanos' foot was trapped inside. Then he clenched his fists and ran forward wildly. He exploded with the strongest force and punched Thanos on the chin. Dragon Fist. Bang! Thanos rises into the sky. A little blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. Then, without waiting for his reaction, a shadow covers Thanos. Jarvis controlled the giant steel suit and stepped directly on Thanos. Then it was brought directly to the ground. Everyone just heard a loud roar. The hard rock ground suddenly sank into a large pit nearly 2 meters deep. And Thanos is at the sole of the iron suit. Jarvis disappeared because of the mind scepter given by Thanos. This can be considered revenge. Next comes the boring one-sided beating session. A group of young people bully a centenarian. Don't talk about martial ethics. What comes up is a 5-person salvo of palm cannons and a Thor's hammer to cleanse the face. Thanos did not escape at all. And he teaches martial ethics himself, trying to hit the mark. But how could everyone in the Avengers allow him to talk nonsense? Another brutal and inhumane beating. It made Thanos' eyes black. He could only sit weakly on the ground. At this time, he was the only one left on Thanos' side on the entire battlefield. All the men were wiped out. Temple number 2 has also been blown up. Thanos became a complete loser. But the eyes of everyone looking at him showed no mercy at all. After all, there are countless corpses of the natives of this planet around at this time. They are kind, but not holy. Who exactly are you? Thanos asked weakly. Kill your people, that's all. Wong Kai slowly descended from the sky, looking at the indifference on Thanos' face. The despair given to everyone in the universe after snapping the fingers. At this moment, everything was returned to him. Thanos also experienced it, watching all his men and vehicles pass away. The feeling of being powerless at the same time. There wasn't much nonsense after that. Wong Kai stepped forward and chopped off Thanos' head with a knife. The overlord of the universe, the son of the Titans, and the tyrant Thanos died. Ding, it's detected that the host kills the supervillain Thanos, and we'll reward you with 500 check-in points. The system sound sounded. Wong Kai suddenly raised his eyebrows. This supervillain is a bit interesting. Thanos is still impressive enough. Set his body on fire. Wong Kai said coldly. Avengers 1 is now over. They also eliminated the greatest threat to the future. The Earth's life should be much better in the future. Everyone felt relieved after killing Thanos. After leaving Koran Star, he returned to Earth. After that, Thor officially joined the Avengers, and did not return to Asgard immediately. Instead, he went to get tired of Jane for a while. Although the two have a good relationship, but Wong Kai had already sensed that Odin, an old man, would not be too happy. It will probably still separate the two of them. The next few months were uneventful. There were no major incidents. The terrorist organization 10 Rings, which originally appeared in Iron Man 3, also disappeared due to Killian's changes. The world generally presents a peaceful and stable scene. At the same time, thanks to the stability of these few months, let Tony and a group of scientists develop a time machine with peace of mind. Finally, after spending nearly 3 months, the dream machine that everyone has been thinking about every night is announced to be completed. It takes into account the function of letting time flow in the body and making people flow in time. Simply put, it can make people younger, but it can also transport people to a designated time point in the parallel universe. Peggy, slow down. Captain America helped his girlfriend, who had white hair and wrinkles, to Dr. Pym's laboratory. Although both of them are around 90 years old, one is old, the other is still young. But time has not changed their love for each other. You should have carried her. Wong Kai smiled and said. Although Peggy is old at this time, she is still conscious and using the time machine is enough to restore her youth. Captain America suddenly smiled awkwardly. When I was young, I didn't have the nerve to do anything. It's even harder to do it when you're so old. At this time Hope and Ava came out of the laboratory. Seeing the two people even though their looks are so different. But the clear love in his eyes is also full of envy. Leave it to us. Using the time machine requires wearing a quantum suit. Ms. Peggy has difficulty moving and we can help. Naturally, Captain America had no objections. Immediately carry Peggy on your back and head to the lounge. Half an hour later, in front of the quantum channel in the laboratory. Peggy has put on a fully enclosed red and white quantum suit and is sitting in a wheelchair. Captain America is right in front of me comforting me. The two held hands tightly and seemed to never let go. At this time, Dr. Pym, Tony, and Banner were debugging the control equipment. There are more than 40 buttons on it. I saw them keep knocking, making a tapping sound. The movements are concise, quick and orderly. But Wong Kai couldn't understand a single step. Okay, the time flow experiment can begin. Tony clapped his hands and shouted. Captain America then said goodbye to Peggy with a bang on his forehead. Nervously, I came to wait outside the laboratory. The quantum channel begins to charge. Dr. Pym shouted. Then he pressed a few buttons at hand. The quantum channel in the laboratory immediately lit up with golden light and started buzzing. Miss Peggy, we will send you into the quantum realm and back again. Don't panic no matter what you see during this period. Banner explained something to reduce the pressure on Peggy. Then he pressed the button in his hand. Countdown to preparation. 3, 2, 1, buzz. As soon as Tony finished speaking, Peggy shrank and disappeared in an instant, leaving only the wheelchair in place, but then Tony continued in less than a second. Countdown to return. 3. Everyone couldn't help but feel nervous. This is an unprecedented experiment. Everyone wants to succeed. But everyone can't help but ask themselves, can it really succeed? 2. Captain America was breathing rapidly and clenching his hands. I just feel like my heart is going to beat out. Can the promise made with Peggy, which is 70 years late, really come true? 1. Buzz. A figure appeared on the wheelchair again. Everyone felt as if their hearts had stopped beating. The person inside the helmet is still Peggy. But compared with the old man just now, what appears now is a young face about 30 years old. So heroic, full of energy. It was Peggy Carter during World War II. Steve. A look of excitement and joy appeared on Peggy's face. Then I immediately felt that all the strength in my body returned to my body. Peggy stood up immediately. Yeah, time flows. We made it. Great job. Perfect. The crowd cheered. Captain America even rushed directly into the laboratory to hug Peggy. The dance that was 70 years late can finally be completed. Okay, does anyone else want to look younger? Tony asked with a smile on his face. Then he turned his head to Dr. Pym. HMPH. Are you saying I'm old? Dr. Pym turned his head away and ignored Tony. Looking at other people, they don't have this idea for the time being. So Tony immediately decided to conduct the next experiment. Time travel. Go to the parallel universe to save your parents. Kai, will you come with me? Of course, you can't wear armor. How can you deal with Winter Soldier? Wong Kai smiled and said. In addition to rescuing Tony's parents this time. And also bring back Bucky from the parallel universe. In this way, there will be no heroic civil war in that parallel universe. Naturally, there is no way to talk about the reunion and split. Although there will be one more Bucky in this universe. But it's better than killing them directly. After changing into the quantum suit, Wong Kai came to Luna. He took her hand and said, "Don't worry, our parents will be resurrected soon." Luna nodded and hugged Wong Kai. I knew Brother Kai would definitely do it. By this time Tony had already changed his clothes. And brought a space-time positioning bracelet and 3 additional sets of quantum suits. The time and space positioning bracelet is a must-carry item. Otherwise they will be stuck in the past and unable to return. Take it, let me teach you how to set the time. The year we are going to is 1991. 5 minutes later, the two of them shrunk into the quantum realm with the sound of the countdown. When he emerged from another entrance to the quantum realm, he had arrived at the predetermined location. On the road outside New York at night. It was here that Tony's parents were killed. Right time, right place. Tony glanced at the bracelet. Then suddenly I heard Wang Kai say, "The characters are right too." Suddenly there was a sound of cars in the distance. At the same time, there was a motorcycle following behind them. Sitting on it was a disheveled rider. Both of them who are familiar with the plot know that. That's Winter Soldier Bucky. Quick, that guy is about to shoot. Tony was immediately anxious when he saw this. The quantum suit is not his steel suit and has no combat function at all. Don't worry, think about how to explain it to your parents first. As soon as Wang Kai finished speaking, he activated the sixth speed company. The whole person instantly turned into an afterimage and came to the Winter Soldier, who raised his gun and knocked him down with a slap in the face. Winter Soldier suddenly rolled off the high-speed motorcycle. It rolled on the ground more than 10 times before stopping. Then just as he was about to stand up, Wang Kai came behind him and knocked him unconscious with a knife. Chapter 91. Stop. Stop it. Tony stood in the middle of the road waving his arms at the moving cars and shouted. I feel both excited and anxious. I can already see my parents' old faces through the windshield. Although there are all kinds of words in my heart, I can't seem to say a single word at this time. Wang Kai is right, he should think about how to explain to his parents in advance. Gee, the car braked suddenly and stopped suddenly. The friction between the tires and the ground produces a pungent burning smell. Howard Stark in the driver's seat looked at Tony in the quantum suit with a surprised look on his face. I noticed that this strange guy blocking the car looked very familiar. Seemed to have seen it somewhere. Then he glanced at the fallen Winter Soldier behind him through the rearview mirror. There seemed to be a black shadow flying past just now, and then the motorcyclist following behind fell down. This made him feel something was wrong. To be cautious, he took out the pistol and put it under his body. Who are you? The white-haired Howard shouted. Tony's red and white quantum suit looked very weird to him, coupled with the sloppy yet familiar face. Let Howard be wary. Dad, Mom, it's me, I'm Tony. Tony. Maria, Tony's mother, suddenly widened her eyes. His son is obviously still a little fresh kid. How did it become like this? But after this reminder, he discovered that he looked exactly like his son. He is about 20 years older. Tony, are you going to a costume party? Maria asked. Then he motioned to his husband to put down the pistol. Howard finally reacted after Tony yelled. No wonder it's so familiar. But then he asked angrily, what the hell are you doing? Why are you wearing makeup like this? Tony quickly waved his hands and walked forward anxiously to explain. I'm Tony, but not Tony at this point in time. I'm from 21 years later. To briefly explain, Maria and Howard both looked shocked. Will they be killed here? Or Captain America's good friend Bucky? This is too incredible. How do we believe you are Tony from the future? Howard asked seriously. A time machine is like something out of fantasy. How can you be convincing with just a few words? At this time, suddenly a gust of wind blew. But it was Wang Kai who roared to the front of the car carrying Winter Soldier. Just look at this and you'll understand, Mr. Stark. Wang Kai pointed at Winter Soldier's face. Howard immediately opened his mouth. He will never forget that familiar face. The Howling Commandos led by Captain America sacrificed 2 people. One is Captain America himself. The other one is the person in front of me. Sergeant Barnes, didn't he die in World War II? And why doesn't it seem to have changed at all? Seeing this, Tony had no choice but to continue explaining. It took several more minutes before Tony's parents finally believed it. And the father and son also settled their differences. Relations improved greatly. He took out his quantum suit and put it on for all 3 of them. Wang Kai suddenly thought of something. After looking around, I quickly found the camera that recorded the video. But judging from the location, the scene of them rescuing people should not have been filmed. Mom, Dad, are you ready to go to the future? Tony asked with a smile. No, wait a minute. Howard went to the trunk of the car and took out a box of blue bags of medicine. This is the replica super soldier serum. Will this thing still be useful in the future? In the original plot, Hydra sent Winter Soldier to kill Tony's parents just to seize this imitation product. But this thing has great side effects. It can make people irritable. There is no need to take it away when there are better options for extremis virus. Burn the car with it. Wang Kai shook his head and said. Howard threw it down and set the car on fire. 4 people pressed the return button at the same time. At the same time, Wong Kai helped Winter Soldier press the button. With a whoosh, everyone returned to this universe together. When the 5 people came out of the quantum channel, there was another round of cheers immediately outside the laboratory. Especially the ghost girl Ava. She was even more excited when she saw this scene. Because this means that the parents who died due to the explosion of the quantum channel experiment can also be saved. I really got you back, Stark. Dr. Pym stepped forward with a straight face and said. Then he stretched out his right hand. Congratulations on coming to the future. Howard smiled immediately when he saw this. Thank you for your quantum channel, too. The two of them clasped their hands and smiled, letting go of their grudges. The misunderstanding is no longer important at this moment. Being able to be reunited with my family is enough. Subsequently, Wong Kai handed over the fainted Winter Soldier to Captain America. Howard and Maria's eyes lit up when they saw Peggy regaining her youth. He immediately came forward and started chatting. Not long after, Tony's mother Maria suddenly looked anxious. Son, why are you not married at the age of 42? Look how old you are. It will be too late if you don't get married. All mothers are the same. Maria babbled for a while. Tony was immediately embarrassed. Suddenly he pointed at Captain America and Peggy. Aren't the 2 people over there who are over 90 years old not married yet? Captain America and Peggy's faces darkened at that time. It's really hard to pick up any pot. So the strong woman Peggy immediately clenched her fists and stepped forward. With a smile on his face, he started a friendly exchange with Tony. And at this time, Wong Kai and Ava are ready. The 2 of them traveled to the parallel universe together with Goliath's blessing. Prepare to save Ava's family. This time is the same as rescuing Tony's parents. The 2 went directly to the simple garage laboratory they rented at the time. Rescued Ava's parents and little Ava before the quantum channel was about to explode. Then Ava came forward and explained everything. After experiencing the same shock, Elias Stark, father, and Catherine, mother, still chose to believe in their grown-up daughter. The 2 of them and Xiao Ai put on their quantum suits. Then they returned to this universe together. Thank you for saving us and Ava. I really don't know how we should repay you. Mother Catherine said gratefully. Wong Kai shook his head and looked calm. It's just a piece of cake. In addition, what you should really thank is Dr. Pym. Without him, there would be no time machine. Father Eli Hayes is a colleague of Dr. Pym. The 2 had some misunderstandings. Then Goliath came over, excitedly hugging each other with Ai's father, Ai's mother and Xiao Ai. Welcome back. No words are needed at this moment. They will have plenty of time to talk later. Move the place out of the way again. Wong Kai finished supplementing the Pym particles and prepared for the 3rd time travel. This time, what he is going to is the future. April 29, 2018. Thanos collected all the Infinity Stones that day and snapped his fingers. Parallel Universe. Avengers 3 Wakanda Battlefield. At this time the battle has entered the final stage. Thanos bloodbathed Xandar and obtained the Power Stone. Then he strangled Loki to obtain the Space Stone. Then kill the Collector and get the Reality Stone. Sacrifice daughter Gamora to obtain the Soul Gem. Force Doctor Strange to hand over the Time Stone. Now only the last Mind Stone is left, which is embedded in Vision's head. The attacks of Captain America, Falcon, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Banner, Natasha Romanoff and many other superheroes are of no use. Even if the US team activates the 50-50 skill. He forced himself to raise Thanos' palm. But it can only last for 1 second. Then he was knocked down by Thanos with 1 punch. So in desperation, Vision asks his lover Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, to break the Mind Stone on his forehead. Wanda had no choice but to kill her lover with her own hands with grief. But this is just delaying time for Thanos who has the Time Stone. I saw the Infinity Gauntlet Time Stone on Thanos' left hand suddenly light up. There is a circle of green runes on the wrist. After rotating the rune in the opposite direction, the broken Mind Stone and Vision returned to their original state. Thanos then used the 9-yin white bone claw to detach the Mind Stone. Vision takes the dog on the spot. But Thanos, who had collected 6 Infinity Stones, had not had time to be happy. I saw Rage's orphan Thor in the distance throwing his storm axe at Thanos with all his strength. Thanos. The orphan Thor's combat power at this time is even more terrifying than the gem-filled Thanos. very easily split the destruction laser fired by Thanos. The storm axe was inserted into Thanos' chest with a bang. I told you. The orphan Thor came to Thanos with a fierce look on his face. You will pay for this. Grab the purple sweet potato's head with one hand. With one hand, he continued to insert the storm axe into Thanos' body. Thanos suddenly shouted with a painful expression. But then he panted and said with a ferocious smile. You should have aimed for the head. Raise your left hand wearing the Infinity Gauntlet and interlock your fingers. I just wanted to complete my mission. But suddenly, his entire left arm was cut off by a green blade. Ah! Thanos' eyes widened and his entire expression became distorted. It's not the pain of losing my arm, but the mission that was only one step away ended in this way. Actually, just chop off your hands. Wong Kai appeared from behind Thanos with a sneer on his face, holding huge amounts of cyan magic blade in his hand. Then he stabbed Thanos from behind again and killed Thanos directly. Purple blood instantly splashed across the orphan Thor's face. Ding! Host beheading detected. Repeatedly spawning monsters without checking in, it's a shame. The system prompt sounds. Wong Kai didn't care at all. Go forward and put away the Infinity Gauntlet. At this time, Wong Kai kills Thanos again. But Thor, the orphan, was stunned. What have you done? Orphan Thor moment rage. He lives now just to kill his enemies with his own hands. How could I bear it when Wong Kai snatched his head? Just pull out the storm axe from Thanos' chest and fight Wong Kai desperately. Just like Shilezi, dazzling lightning emitted from the body of the orphan Thor. Even his eyes were dyed white. The storm battle axe can carry the power to chop down Mount Washan with great ferocity. Too slow. Wong Kai instantly turned on all the buffs. Orphan Thor's movements are like slow motion. Swing the knife upwards with both hands. Huge amounts of the magic blade struck directly on the storm axe. Boom! Like thunder on dry land exploding on the ground. The sound of cracking rocks reaching through the clouds reaches to the sky. The shock wave spread instantly and stirred up a layer of smoke and dust. The shining thunder raged around Wong Kai, but it couldn't hurt him at all. On the contrary, the storm axe in the hand of the orphan Thor was directly knocked away. It spun and hit the ground not far away. Wong Kai's face was full of indifference. Fully 5 meters tall, holding huge amounts of magic blades before the orphan Thor. As long as the orphan Thor takes one step further, he will definitely send this orphan on his way. After all, the most important thing for a family is to be neat and tidy. Thor, what happened? At this time, Captain America's voice sounded. When I came to Wong Kai, I was shocked. Seeing him pointing the magic blade at Thor, he immediately became alert again. Thor, what happened? Thanos' body is lying next to it. Captain America has no idea what happened in the short period of time just now. That man, he killed Thanos. Scarlet Witch said sadly. Crouching down and looking at Vision's corpse, tears couldn't stop flowing down his face. At this time more people appeared. Rocket Raccoon immediately burst into tears when he saw Wong Kai. Hey friend, are you a dwarf? This weapon is quite beautiful. Then after saying that, he aimed the weapon in his hand at Wong Kai. Put down that weapon, it's mine. Wong Kai glanced at Rocket and ignored him. Look at the Avengers around us. The awakening was directly cancelled, and the body shape gradually returned to normal. I am Kai from another universe, coming to you to borrow the Infinity Stones. He took out the gem-filled Infinity Gauntlet from the system backpack and showed it to everyone. Then he immediately put it back. Many Avengers were suddenly filled with questions. But then, without waiting for anyone to ask, Wong Kai put on the right-hand Infinity Gauntlet that only contained the Space Stone again. Open a portal directly. On the other side are the Guardians of the Galaxy and Tony, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Nebula on Titan. Okay, let me explain. Doctor Strange ran over immediately. This is a guest from another universe. He has the least loss among all the possibilities for us to win this war. Thank you Kai, but remember to change it back when you're done using it. Doctor Strange pointed at the Infinity Gauntlet and said. Wong Kai raised his eyebrows. I secretly thought that this is indeed the case. Among the 16 million endings Doctor Strange has seen, it should have been added that he came to borrow the Infinity Stones. That's why he said this. In that case, I'll leave first. Wang Kai pressed the button of the time and space positioning bracelet. Then he left the universe directly. The other Avengers were stunned. Confused about all this. Don't worry, I will explain it to you slowly. Doctor Strange looked at everyone and said, this universe. Wang Kai returned again. After greeting everyone, Luna and she came to Kamatage. Ask the Ancient One Mage to make sure it's okay. Wang Kai put on the gem-filled infinity glove on his left hand without hesitation. In an instant, an extremely powerful energy surged through the body. But Wang Kai adapted quickly after gaining experience. He clenched his fists tightly. Clear your mind of distracting thoughts. He has only one purpose. That means resurrecting your parents no matter what. Suddenly the light of the infinity gauntlet becomes stronger and stronger, until the entire Kamatage is illuminated. When the light dissipates, a middle-aged couple who looked very similar to Wang Kai appeared in the room. What's going on? Aren't we dead? Wang Jinji, Dad Wang, looked at his hands in surprise. Li Wang Ma was also very confused. But before the second elder could react, Wang Kai and Luna rushed forward with excitement. The tears of both of them could not stop flowing. But it shocked Father Wang. It's broken, it's broken. Why did you two come down here too? Why does God torture us like this? God didn't open his eyes. Father Wang was immediately angry and upset. But soon Ma Wang pointed at the ground and said excitedly, no kids, father. Look, we all have shadows. We're not dead. How could he not be dead? I've seen the bull-headed horse face, have you forgotten? Father Wang said with a sad face. The three of them hugged each other tightly and continued to sigh. Seeing this, Wang Kai and Luna had no choice but to contain their excitement and explain to their elders. It took nearly half an hour. I almost broke my tongue. After showing a lot of magic, the two elders believed that they were coming back from the dead. I didn't expect there to be magic in the world. Wang Ma watched Luna split into two. Then he flew into the air again, and then used the magic whip, his face full of surprise. Where's your magic, son? You can't be inferior to Luna. Father Wang asked curiously. Well, I made too much noise, but if you want to see it, you can. Mirror dimension. The second elder's eyes widened when he saw Wang Kai wielding a 100-meter sword. Then when he saw Wang Kai, who had transformed into a green dragon, his feet softened and he almost knelt down. This shocked Wang Kai instantly. The father knelt down to his son and he couldn't stand it when the sky struck him like lightning. He hurriedly changed back to help the two of them. Mom and Dad, are you okay? Wang Kai was a little embarrassed. Although everyone in China knows about dragons and claims to be their descendants, who has actually seen a real dragon? And today the two elders met. It really scared them. It's okay, no problem. Father Wang shook his head with a wry smile on his face. Everyone hopes that their children will become dragons and phoenixes. I didn't expect that this would really be Jackie Chan. And it's Qinglong, one of the 4 legendary gods who created the world. If I were to return to China, I don't know how many people would rush to kneel down and worship. Accepting the fact that 2 children are already different, Father Wang and Mother Wang then started a new life. Wang Kai also lived with his parents for 3 days before going to the parallel universe alone to return the Infinity Gauntlet. Parallel universe. Doctor Strange just finished explaining to everyone. Less than half an hour had passed since Wang Kai left. Wang Kai is back with the gem-filled Infinity Gauntlet. As a result, Wang Kai didn't speak yet. Star-Lord, this idiot, ran over in a hurry. He said in a deep and serious tone, hey man, I know this glove can do anything. Please do me a favor. That should be as simple as lifting your underwear for you. Star-Lord just finished speaking. Everyone around them rolled their eyes. Wang Kai was also extremely speechless. As expected, this group of people couldn't be more serious than 2 sentences. You want to resurrect Gamora, right? That's no problem, but you have to get some gifts to show your appreciation. Upon hearing this, Star-Lord gave his beloved spaceship to Wang Kai without saying a word. But why does Wang Kai want to take something? And their spaceship is still on Titan. He can't drive. After that, the two talked about a few more gifts. But Wang Kai was not satisfied. This is Rocket's direct complaint. Aha, Quill, it would be nice if your dad was still here. Maybe this old man would like him if he's so big. That guy has been blown up by us, why are you talking about this? Star-Lord glared at Rocket. Hey brother, just tell me what you like. Wong Kai glanced at it. This guy really doesn't want anything good. Just give me a cosmic helmet as a souvenir. Star-Lord's face lit up and he immediately agreed. Apart from providing oxygen and a certain amount of protection, there is nothing outstanding about this thing. It's a bad street product in the galaxy. Put on the Infinity Gauntlet again. Wong Kai squeezed with one hand. The white light appears again. Not long after, Gamora, who looked like She-Hulk, appeared in front of Star-Lord. Star-Lord immediately stepped forward with excitement and wanted to hug his goddess. But he was kicked in the crotch by Gamora, who didn't know why. Who are you? I should be pushed off the cliff by Thanos. Gamora looked wary. I suspect this is just a phantom created by Thanos. The Yinhu people immediately stepped forward to explain. After a while, Gamora believed everything. It was just painful that Star-Lord lay on the ground in agony. Once someone starts, there will naturally be another one. Vision was resurrected and everyone cheered. Loki was resurrected, but everyone sighed. Seeing that more and more people want to make requests, Wong Kai threw the glove directly to Doctor Strange. Now, this is your problem. Wong Kai pressed the time and space positioning bracelet to return to the universe. Everyone else looked at Doctor Strange with expectant eyes. I really didn't see it here. No matter how the parallel universe develops, Wong Kai's life finally returned to peace. Just when he thought he could have a good time in the future, the Ancient One suddenly came to visit. Kay, do you know the price of playing with time? Iron Man has a famous saying in Avengers 4, if you play with time, time will also play with you. Everyone in the Avengers traveled through time and space to collect the Infinity Stones to resurrect countless lives that had turned to ashes. The result seems to be like a backlash. Thanos from another universe appears. Not only did he threaten to snap his fingers again and destroy the entire universe. The good guy originally only killed half of them, but now he's threatening the entire universe. But fortunately everyone in the Avengers withstood the backlash. Didn't let this happen. And now, it was Wong Kai's turn to bear the backlash. In front of everyone in the infinite universe, there are three extremely terrifying Thanos. They are Emperor Thanos, Death Thanos, Ultimate Thanos. And the biggest crisis that the Earth is about to face is from the Emperor Thanos. Ancient One waved with one hand. A scene like a 3D projection suddenly appeared in the sky. An old purple sweet potato man with a crown on his head and a gray beard sat on the throne, holding a dog leash in his hand. And on the other side of the dog leash is Hulk. This Emperor Thanos is different from the Thanos of the main universe in that he kills for the balance of the universe. He slaughtered all life on the entire planet, destroyed Asgard again, killed Odin, Thor, even the planet Devourer and the universe god group died under his hands. Kill the entire universe without leaving a single person alive. The purpose is just to please his beloved. The death of one of Marvel's 5 creator gods. And now, it seems that killing an entire universe is not enough for Emperor Thanos. He came to Wong Kai's universe to cause trouble. Since this Emperor Thanos is so powerful, why didn't you, Master Ancient One, stop me from resurrecting my parents? Wong Kai asked doubtfully. After all, this incident started with him. This matter can be solved as long as Wong Kai is prevented from traveling to other universes. What's also strange is that Wong Kai remembers that he went to other universes to borrow infinite gems in his Ancient One body shape. Why is this? This Emperor Thanos is not a question of whether he is powerful or not. He is that rare type who is looking for death. So I fulfilled him. Ancient One smiled and said, it's even more impossible to prevent you from resurrecting your parents. Because only if you play with time will Emperor Thanos come to this universe. Then you kill me. Otherwise he will just destroy more universes. Wong Kai's face condensed after hearing this. It turned out to be this reason. Without going to another universe to borrow gems to resurrect his parents, Thanos, the emperor who can be called the destroyer of the universe, would not have come here to die. It seems like something that cannot be done with 8 poles. In fact, Ancient One already knew it when the two met for the first time. The Time Stone can be seen peeking into the future. But I didn't expect that the Pengu experience card would be used on Thanos. But then, Wong Kai thought of more things. He wants to use this strongest experience card to eliminate future troubles. Mage Ancient One, After killing Emperor Thanos, can you help me open the portal to hell? Wong Kai asked. Of course, but Dome, you don't have to think about it. Ancient One waved one hand again. Thanos, the Emperor in the sky, became Domu, the ruler of the dark dimension. As long as that guy has followers, he will never die. Unless you go to the infinite multi-universe to kill all his followers, and then completely destroy the dark dimension. A single Pengu mode cannot kill him completely. It will only allow him to escape the dark dimension and bring disaster to other universes. Wong Kai suddenly frowned. Life-saving ability is so strong. This desire to survive is simply max. Then how can we kill him completely? Dongwang Tai. Ancient One smiled and said. Wong Kai raised his eyebrows and saw that it was actually PPEL. Although Eclipse Dongwang Tai is very powerful and has a B character in the background story. But it can't be compared to Pengu, who created the world. I don't know what restrained Damumu. Let's go, Emperor Thanos is almost here. Ancient One opened the portal and stepped in. Wong Kai clasped the Pengu experience card and followed closely. The other side is not the universe, but at an altitude of 10,000 meters. Wong Kai had no choice but to transform into a metal storm and fly in the air. Although the blue dragon can fly, but Qinglongzi cannot fly. This is the only drawback. I will use magic to cover up the scene of your battle so as not to cause panic to the world. Ancient One said as he opened the portal again. The dark background on the other side is the universe. It is already very far away from the Earth. It would not be possible for Wong Kai to reach out and touch the blue planet under their feet. Since there is a vacuum on the other side, the air immediately poured in and formed a level 8 gale. Ancient One nodded slightly to indicate that he could enter. Wong Kai immediately drove Metal Storm through the door. And Ancient One also quickly closed the portal. Then he crossed his hands and made a special gesture. The round shield rune of golden light began to appear in front of him. And the scope is getting wider and wider. The initial stage is still football file size. Soon it became bigger than a basketball court. In the blink of an eye, it surpasses a stadium or even a city. When this shield completely stops, the scope has included the entire Earth. This battle in outer space, no one or machine on Earth will detect it. And Ancient One then continued to open the portal. Come to outer space, open the Eye of Agamotto and prepare to clean up the mess. Within the solar system, a giant spaceship as big as a file in a city is rapidly heading towards the Earth. Its owner is none other than Thanos, the Emperor who traveled across the universe. In order to please his true love, Death, Emperor Thanos destroyed the entire universe. Slaughtered all living things. Build your own throne out of the planet Devourer's head. The Temple of Death was built with the bones of the gods. But even if he did this, he still couldn't exchange Death's love for him. So the crazy Emperor Thanos came up with a good idea. That is to sacrifice oneself to Death. But he is too strong. So strong that no opponent can kill him. So Emperor Thanos took the opportunity to come to another universe. I just want to beat you to death, or be beaten to death by you. This sentence is more suitable to describe the current Emperor Thanos. In a blink of an eye, the blue planet is already in front of you. Emperor Thanos suddenly showed a bloodthirsty and crazy expression. I wonder if the Avengers of this universe can kill him. While the Emperor and the Tyrant are enjoying themselves, a strong body that covers the sky and the sun, stands tall on the ground, fills the entire field of vision and makes it difficult to see clearly, suddenly appears in front of the Earth. Wong Kai crushed the Pengu experience card. The body has become more than 3 times taller than the Earth. The clenched fist is as big as the moon file size. Those strong muscles all over his body are like the most terrifying weapons in the world. And behind him are 2 light blue translucent energy arms. A circle bigger than his fist that is as big as the moon. Just standing there makes you feel like the space around you is shattering. Wong Kai looked at the file-sized spaceship in his eyes, which was as big as grains of rice. He said indifferently, axe or fist? Pick one. The sound seemed to shatter the surrounding space. You can hear it clearly even in space. This is no longer the air vibrating and transmitting sound. Instead, the space is vibrating, trembling. But when Emperor Thanos saw this, not only did he not show any fear, but he burst into laughter. A guy with a body as big as a planet. He also killed a lot. He jumped directly through the spaceship and entered outer space. Looking at the giant in front of me, it seems that no matter how much I raise my head, I can't reach the top. Emperor Destroyer's fighting spirit is overwhelming. Today, either you die or I die. No matter what, you must offer the best sacrifice to death. Even himself. Gather all the energy in the body. Emperor Thanos raised his right hand high and grabbed it out of thin air. In an instant, it was enough to cause the earth to shake, and the energy of the sun and the moon to collapse converged on the right fist. It feels as if this punch is enough to destroy the world. Then it burst out with a dazzling light like a star. The Emperor destroys the tyrant in one step, across thousands of miles of starry sky in the blink of an eye. Then the star-like light faded. All the energy and light seemed to disappear without a trace, but they all condensed into a singular point. Then he exploded all his energy and punched Wong Kai through the air. Dong, click click click. The space around the fist instantly shattered in all directions like a spider web. A solid, condensed, materialized pillar of colorful energy flew out from the fist, emitting a dazzling light and carrying the aura of destroying everything. It seems like just one look can melt your soul. In the blink of an eye, it traveled thousands of miles and hit Wong Kai directly in the chest. Buzz. Emperor Thanos' world-destroying energy fist exploded directly on Wong Kai's open chest. The terrifying energy spread out instantly. The explosion was as powerful as the simultaneous explosion of hundreds or thousands of mankind's most powerful nuclear weapons. For a moment, even the surrounding space seemed to be shattered and obliterated. Even the brilliance of the star explosion will be eclipsed. The universe was instantly obscured by strong light. It's like the last afterglow of a supernova explosion. Try to light up the entire galaxy. This unparalleled blow. It's enough to shake the earth and cause landslides and earthquakes. It's easy to break the continental shelf into pieces with one punch. But Wong Kai was not hurt at all. Not even a trace was left. You've been playing tricks for a long time while you're tickling me. Wong Kai raised his eyelids and lowered his head and said, "Clench your fists, raise your arms, and then punch out with a simple punch." Boom. In an instant, starting from Wong Kai's fist, emits a fan-shaped ripple visible to the naked eye. Thanos suddenly felt as if a disaster was coming. But instead of retreating, he continued to attack Wong Kai with a grin. Use both fists to shoot out thousands of colorful energy pillars in the blink of an eye. The same thing covers the sky and the sun. Destroys all things. But all the colorful energy pillars were torn apart in the next moment. Emperor Thanos' whole body shattered like glass. No. Not just Thanos. Instead, all the space in this sector-shaped area is shattered. The length almost extends to Mars. The distance is more than tens of millions of kilometers. All space collapsed inch by inch. Finally turned into powder. The scene was extremely terrifying and horrifying. Anyone who sees it will be extremely frightened. Just one punch. It will annihilate thousands of miles of space. Beat up Thanos, the emperor who slaughtered an entire universe, to nothing. What a terrifying power this is. Ding, it's detected that the host has killed the supervillain Emperor Thanos, and will be rewarded with 500 check-in points. Doesn't it mean you have to spawn monsters repeatedly if you wear a vest? Wong Kai raised a smile on his lips. He has killed Thanos 3 times. The Thanos of this universe and the parallel universe, plus this Emperor Thanos. I wonder if more Thanos will come to settle accounts with him in the future. It feels like stabbing Thanos in his nest. One after another they came up and gave away their heads. When Wong Kai was enjoying himself, the cosmic space that was shattered into powder also began to heal. Viewed from the entire solar system, it's like tearing a tiny wound. But the exposed internal flesh is a piece of chaos. Although it is not clear whether there is something pregnant in chaos. But from the Ancient One's anxious use of the Time Stone to speed up the healing of his wounds, we can know that the other side is by no means a good place. After a while, all spaces heal. The solar system is business as usual again. And Wong Kai has a panoramic view of the entire solar system. However, he discovered that he was actually still extremely small based on Pengu's size. Even the nearest Mars is nearly 200 million kilometers away from him at this time. The universe is really too vast. So vast that the solar system is like a grain of dust. The Milky Way is just a grain of sand in the desert. The universe is thousands of miles across, and the Earth and Moon are but a small corner. The world is so big. I'll have to go see it sooner or later. Change the hero template. The figure that created the world suddenly disappeared. A portal opens next to you. Wong Kai smiled slightly and flew in with Metal Storm. Hell Dimension. The Demon King Mephisto is recuperating in the newly built palace. He has been hiding in the palace without seeing anyone since he was injured about 10 days ago. The time flow in the two places is different. The artificial sun exploded in his face at 0 distance without killing him. This shows how powerful Mephisto is. Guy, when I recover from my injuries, I will eat your body alive. Let your soul fall into endless torture before being devoured by me. Mephisto is no longer as graceful as the previous Demon King. Eyes full of hatred, his face was distorted, and his body was covered with burnt marks. QVQ. The hatred for Wong Kai has reached its extreme. Boom. Suddenly thunder sounded outside the palace. Mephisto's figure flashed outside and he came outside to check the situation. Countless demons in the Demon King's city looked up. I saw that the thick clouds were rolling outward like they were boiling. There were bursts of thunder all around. Deafening explosions were heard from the distant sky straight into the ground. Mephisto suddenly frowned. There's always a feeling that something bad is about to happen. Suddenly, the thick clouds that have not dispersed for thousands of years are discharged to both sides. A wall that completely blocked out the sun and filled the entire field of vision fell from the clouds. Press straight down towards the Demon King's castle. Mephisto's pupils suddenly shrank. I was extremely horrified. This is not a wall. It is clearly an unimaginably large hand. The lines on the palm are as broad as a mighty river. Astonishing world-destroying thunder exploded all around. But still couldn't stop the palm from falling. Mephisto was terrified and wanted to run away. But I found that I couldn't escape the range of this palm no matter what. No matter how he escapes. That palm is still on top of his head. It seems like it hasn't moved for a moment. Mephisto's whole body burned with flames, revealing his true form as a demon. The firstborn is crowned with a flaming crown on his horns. Transform into a huge body of hundreds of meters and fly into the sky. It's like a flame giant directly under the palm of your hand. Boom! Mephisto collided with the giant palm. The shock wave suddenly spread to all directions at a speed of more than 100 kilometers per hour. Forming a visible annular wall of air. The speed of the giant palm suddenly seemed to slow down. But before Mephisto could get a surprise, in an instant, the giant palm shot straight to the ground with unstoppable force. Boom! It was like a super volcano erupting in an instant. A bright light illuminates hell again. The flames and gravel soaring into the sky seemed to have touched the thick clouds. With the great earthquake, the whole hell began to tremble. The surface of the earth begins to fall apart. The red magma below is constantly exposed. The shock wave swept through hell again, smashing any material in front of it. But the huge amounts of palms don't even show the elbows. It's like stepping on a hard ant and noticing. But ants will never lift a person's feet. Wong Kai easily killed Mephisto with one move of Pengu Divine Palm. And with one slap, the whole hell was turned into a pot of hot porridge. All the volcanoes are erupting. The magma flows freely like a river. Until they converge to the lowest place. The original Demon King's castle. The future lava sea. The whole hell will be filled with the smell of sulfur and burning sensation from today on. And the fear that always surrounds every surviving demon. Lord of Hell, Satan Mephisto death. And he was easily slapped to death. Such a terrible sight. It will become a legend in hell for millions of years to come. And Wong Kai retracted his palm in the sky above hell. After returning to the main universe, go deal with other hidden dangers. Star-Lord's father Ego, and the remaining Hydra Hive. And the Red Skull. In the vast universe, there is a newborn god. Calls himself Ego, and is the father of Star-Lord of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He has lived for millions of years, is very smart, and very powerful. Hundreds of drone spacecraft can be destroyed with a wave of the hand. And he can manipulate molecules, using this ability to build himself a celestial level armor. That is a planet, but just as all life pursues instinct. Egg also began to seek to reproduce offspring. Then this super stallion began to find people to grow throughout the galaxy and sow its own seeds. It contains more than just humanoid creatures. There are other non-humanoid beings in the universe. The taste is not ordinary. As long as he finds another qualified heir, you can carry out your own expansion plan. Create countless similar ones so that you are no longer alone. And now, in order to fulfill his wish, Wang Kai specially used the space gem to come to the planet where Ego is, planning to beat him to death. This way he won't be alone. Ah, you are really ugly. Wang Kai looked at the red planet in front of him and couldn't help complaining. The red clouds frame an old face. The blue light shines in the two eye sockets, and the expression on his face is as if he is constipated. Anyone who sees it will feel unusual. Without turning into a pan, Ancient One punched Igo and blew him up. Wang Kai chose to enter the interior of the planet to find Yiji's companion, or pet mantis. She mainly helps Egg fall asleep. Very stupid and naive, an innocent person. There was no need for Wang Kai to be buried with her. Use the space gem to teleport to the palace on the surface. Soon he found Mantis standing on the balcony in a daze. What are you looking at? Wang Kai suddenly appeared and asked with a smile. Mantis was immediately startled. My feet slipped and I almost fell. Wang Kai immediately stepped forward to grab Mantis's hand, and then expressed his kindness as much as possible. Mantis has the ability to perceive other people's thoughts and emotions through touch. At the same time, you can also inject emotions into the opponent, making Egg sleep as the use of this ability. Are you here to save me? The two horns on Mantis's head suddenly lit up. Reach out and touch Wang Kai's face. Apparently ability has been activated. What do you mean by cute? Are you talking about me? Mantis woman blinked her big eyes and asked. I read Wang Kai's thoughts inadvertently. I'm talking about you, you are beautiful. Wang Kai smiled all over his face. Mantis woman immediately smiled, she already knew the purpose of this person's coming. And reading the other party's thoughts just saves Wang Kai the time to explain. Ego has become a threat. I want to eliminate it. Is there anyone else on the planet? Yes, they are all Egg's children. Mantis woman immediately lowered her head. Egg found his own children more than once. But after realizing that they had no power from the gods, he killed them all. All the bones have piled up into a hill. And she saw it all. But he didn't dare to resist out of fear. Okay, you take me to see them first. Within the temple built by Egg. At this time, he was testing the power of the gods for the new batch of children brought by the predators. Good boy, come and condense an energy ball like me. Egg had a hypocritical smile on his face. When he closed his hands and opened them again, a white energy ball appeared. But the green-skinned child in front of him, about 7 or 8 years old, couldn't do it. The smile on Egg's face gradually disappeared, until he became disappointed 3 minutes later. Another piece of trash. Egg grabbed the child's neck and strangled him to death. How any of this child is padded? What kind of pleading eyes are there? He looked indifferent and didn't care at all whether this person was related to him by blood. Seeing that the child is about to be strangled to death, a flash of cyan sword light split Ego in half in the blink of an eye. Wang Kai's body was as strong as lightning, and he was able to force the child over in the blink of an eye. But Egg, who was divided into 2 halves, did not die. The current old appearance is just a puppet made by his controlling elements. The real body is the brain inside the planet. All I can see is the blue light shining through the incision. Then an electro-optical connection is sent out. The body that was split in half came back together. Yi Jie was so angry that he pointed at Wang Kai and said angrily, "Who are you? How dare you offend the gods?" Offend? Wang Kai handed the child to Mantis with a sneer on his face. No, I'm going to kill you. In an instant, the phantom of the green dragon appeared. Egg seemed to hear a vague dragon roar. Then I saw what was called a 40-meter sword. Boom! The cyan sword slashed down fiercely, completely scattering Yi Ji's puppet. There is a huge crack on the floor of the hall that is as wide as one person. Then Wang Kai used the space gem to create a portal and sent Mantis and a total of 5 alien children to Kamatage for placement first. Immediately afterwards, they arrived outside the planet Ego. Switch hero template. Suddenly, Pengu, who defeated the Emperor Thanos with 1 punch, came back. Although there is not much time left, but it is enough to take care of the young god Yi Jie. The Ancient One, a disk larger than the Earth, appears. Egg felt a sense of crisis. Then the red face on the surface of the planet suddenly opened its mouth. The cyan light instantly became extremely bright and dazzling. The surrounding space seemed to begin to tremble and shake. The surging energy gathered and compressed in the mouth. Then it burst out with a bang. True planet-level talker. A white laser cannon almost as thick as the moon was fired. The energy emitted can completely destroy a planet. But then he was punched back in the next moment. Boom. A giant arm inserted from Egg's big mouth. Break out from behind the planet. There is still a large piece of gray material in his hand. That's the protective layer that wraps around Egg's brain. It is very hard, and it took a lot of time in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 to only drill a small hole for Groot to get in with a bomb. But for Wong Kai at this moment, this hard shell is no different from air. I saw the big hand pinching fiercely. The space in the palm of my hand turned into powder in an instant. The protective layer in Egg's brain shattered in response. All dissipated in the universe. Egg died on the spot before he could even cry out. The planet armor also slowly dissipated due to the disappearance of Igo. Become the basic molecules of the universe. And those seeds scattered throughout the galaxy also died at the same time. The newly born god Yi Jie was punched and pinched by Wong Kai. Beat him to death. Rubbish. Wong Kai switches hero templates. Use the space stone to return to Earth again. After asking about the hometown of these children, they were sent back to their mothers one by one. Although Egg is a fool. But at least these 5 children have mothers who love them. And the Ancient One cast illusion magic to make Mantis's 2 horns invisible. From then on, Mantis Girl temporarily stayed at Wong Kai's house. After solving Mephisto and Egg, there is still time for the Pengu experience card. Wong Kai then went to clean up the last 2 remnants of Hydra. That's Hive and Red Skull. A hive is a collection of parasites. It's not easy to find it on the planet. So Wong Kai simply threw the entire planet into a nearby star. In the big explosion that destroyed the world, the system sounded a prompt to kill the hive. The ancient stranger, Hive, finally died in the sun. It can be considered a blessing in life. The other Hydra remnant, Red Skull, is even simpler. When Wong Kai used the space gem to reach the cliff. When the Red Skull tried to show off his pretentiousness and wanted to tell who Wong Kai's son was, Wong Kai stabbed him without saying a word. Don't say whose son I am, just know that I am your father. Under the true damage enchantment, Wong Kai swung dozens of knives. Cutting the seemingly illusory body of the Red Skull into pieces. Becomes like a layer cake. The Red Skull was freed and Hydra was completely eliminated. Earth, home in Brooklyn, New York. Luna looked at Mantis a little unhappy. Father Wong and Mother Wong also looked surprised as to why their son had brought other girls back. Brother Kai, who is she? Hello, I'm Mandy. Mantis stepped forward to shake hands with Luna with an innocent look on her face. Then he suddenly said excitedly, "You are angry. Because the person you like brought back a stranger. You want to marry him, right?" Mantis woman pointed at Wong Kai with her big watery eyes. Suddenly the living room was filled with an awkward atmosphere. Luna's face turned even red. Father Wong and Mother Wong immediately started talking quietly. "It's broken, I think it's a love triangle. It really didn't work to adopt a child bride from an orphanage back then. Humph, aren't all my sons allowed to like it? He's transformed into a dragon, so what does it mean to have more wives?" Although the voices of Father and Mother Wong are small. But Wong Kai and Luna are not ordinary people. The two heard it clearly, and it became even more awkward for a while. Ahem, Mandy's has lived almost alone since she was a child, so she doesn't know much about talking. Let's briefly talk about Mantis. The 2 elders and Luna also roughly understood that Wong Kai was just saving people with good intentions. I don't have any wrong thoughts. Misunderstandings resolved. Only then did Mantis temporarily live in Wong Kai's home safely and learn how to deal with others. Killed all those who deserved to be killed. Those who came looking for death were also killed. Just when Wong Kai thought that the overall situation was decided and the future disasters could be counted on his hands. But fate slapped him hard. It is destined that he will be busy in the future. San Francisco, a port city on the Pacific coast of California, United States. Beautiful scenery and pleasant climate. One of the famous scenic spots, the Golden Gate Bridge, is even more talked about. In addition to the overall grand scale, this bridge ranks first in the world for the number of times it has been destroyed in various film and television works. Many people may not know what this bridge is called, but you must have seen its fancy destruction in various disaster movies. Originally, the Marvel Cinematic Universe let this pitiful building go. But unfortunately, the Marvel movie universe where Wong Kai belongs has not let go. "Hey man, can you take a picture for us?" a black-haired Asian young man said to a tourist. They were standing on the hill northwest of the Golden Gate Bridge. "You can have a panoramic view of the entire Golden Gate Bridge from here. It is a must-visit photo-taking spot for many travel enthusiasts." "No problem, it's a piece of cake." Tourists are very enthusiastic. Pick up the camera of the Asian youth and start taking pictures of them. But soon I felt something was unusual. "Don't sway, you can't take a perfect commemorative photo like this. We are not shaking, it is the earth that is shaking," the Asian young man said hurriedly. Tourists on the hill also discovered this situation immediately. The word earthquake soon appeared in everyone's mind. But fortunately no one yelled, spread the virus called fear. People just stood there quietly waiting for the earthquake to end. "Hey, look, what is that?" a tourist's shout attracted everyone's attention. People looked in the direction he pointed. I discovered that there was a shadow of huge amounts in the water heading towards the Golden Gate Bridge. "Is that a submarine? Isn't it possible? Is there such a big submarine?" the tourists whisper. I can only watch the shadows under the water gradually emerge, revealing a vertical horn like a shark fin. The water surface is divided by vertical angles. Soon we arrived at the foot of the Golden Gate Bridge. The water surface began to roll as if boiling. The shark's fin-like vertical horns finally emerged from the water. The gray vertical horn resembles an axe blade, and immediately below are two huge eyes. There are also fangs full of sharp teeth, chin with bone plate protection. The huge shadow under the water turned out to be a monster over 50 meters in size. Sharp claws were drawn out of the water. Then he took a very fierce photo on the Golden Gate Bridge. Boom! The entire Golden Gate Bridge suddenly bent, and the terrifying force tore the bridge deck directly apart. Dozens of fine steel cables were severed by huge amounts of claws. The Golden Gate Bridge only lasted less than 3 seconds before it broke apart with a wail. The cars above fell into the ocean like ants. Makes a thumping sound. The monster crashed straight through the red Golden Gate Bridge, heading towards San Francisco. Oh, God, what kind of monster is that? The earthquake gradually stopped, and the stunned tourists who were shocked by the appearance of the monster felt that their hearts would stop beating. Monsters invade San Francisco. 1 minute after this incident happened, the entire top management of the United States knew about it. The military immediately dispatched the most advanced fighter jets to kill the monsters. Nick Fury immediately called Wong Kai to ask. It seems that there is no such thing in the future, he mentioned. Isn't this axe-headed monster? Wong Kai received a call from Nick Fury. I was also shocked when I saw the monster reported in the news. How did the first monster in the Pacific Rim universe come to the Marvel universe? This is wrong. I couldn't think of the answer to the question for a while. I have no choice but to deal with this, which may be a new challenge born after changing the future. In addition, Wong Kai also reminded, this kind of monster is very troublesome. Its blood is highly toxic and will change the Earth's atmosphere, soil, and water environment, and exterminate all life on Earth. So don't bomb with mere thermal weapons. That will only cause the toxin to be released faster. This is the reason why there is no use of various missile bombings in the Pacific Rim world. You must use a mecha to fight him in close combat to kill him until he bleeds internally. Only in this way can we control the scope of pollution. Most of the mechas in the movie also follow this principle. It's about a bloody hand-to-hand fight to determine the outcome. As for the subsequent use of missiles and nuclear bombs together, it was already the result of a desperate choice. After all, humans are almost done playing. I can't care about that much anymore. The other end of the phone suddenly fell silent. Before Nick Fury can say anything, Wong Kai had already seen the scene of F-22 fighter jets launching missiles on live TV. Make those idiots stop, otherwise, countless people would have been poisoned before the monster fell. Wong Kai hung up the phone directly. Putting on the Infinity Gauntlet opens the portal. Mom, Dad, Mandy's, please stay at home and don't wander around. Luna left a duplication to stay. Son, are you going to eradicate this monster? Father Wong looked excited. Wong Ma nodded and warned, be sure to pay attention to safety, son. Although Mantis didn't understand what was going on, but he still said softly, please be careful. Wong Kai nodded, gave everyone a confident and reassuring smile, and then came to Dr. Pim's laboratory with Luna. You saw that thing, right? Can you make it smaller? Although the monsters in Pacific Rim are powerful, but it doesn't matter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are plenty of black technologies to deal with these monsters. I'm afraid not, the monster is too big and there aren't enough Pym particles. Dr. Pym said with a straight face. Then Hope stepped forward to explain. The number of Pym particles consumed by zooming in and out increases exponentially. This monster is close to 70 meters tall. We consume too many Pym particles for the time machine and there is simply not enough to use. At this time Ava asked doubtfully, Kai, although this monster is tall, you should be able to kill him with one knife. Others immediately looked at Wong Kai with doubts on their faces. Wong Kai had no choice but to explain again. He killed the monster with one knife. It is no joke that countless people were poisoned and buried with them. He's not that crazy yet. You guys leave here first, I'll just figure out a solution for this monster. So Luna opened the portal and sent everyone to the Avengers building first. Wong Kai started the lottery directly. System, I want to draw a lottery, 10 draws in a row. He earned 800 check-in points by killing Mephisto, Egg, Red Skull, Hive and other villains. Plus those who killed Thanos and what was left before. He has a total of 3,500 check-in points. Ding, 2,000 check-in points have been consumed, and a lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the hero template, the Doomsday Mecha, Lu Bu. Ding, congratulations to the host for gaining skills and becoming able to dominate the world. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill, Flowing Fire Arrow. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, the Endless War Blade. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, the Running Wolf Emblem. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the consumables, the Big Medicine Box. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item, the System Backpack Expansion Column. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining special items and skill enhancement points. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting a special item, thank you for your patronage too. Doomsday Mecha, it really comes to whatever you want. Wong Kai was overjoyed. With a mecha that could compete with the monsters, this battle would be much easier to handle. System, you are so considerate. A hero who is always ready for me, I love you. But I don't love you. I already have a sweetheart, so you, host, are a good person. The system voice has just finished. Wong Kai's face curled up into the word, Zhong. Has he been handed a good person card by the system? This is too bloody. For the first time, the good guy card is not even a human being. Shake your head to get rid of distracting thoughts. Wong Kai looked at the reward attentively. Doomsday Mecha Lu Bu. The most perfect mecha, the destroyer created. He is not born human and is superior to others. I feel like I'm a loser. System, how tall is the Doomsday Mecha Lu Bu? Not counting weapons and feathers, it is 80 meters. In addition, the length of the transformed giant fighter plane is also 70 meters. Deformed. Wong Kai looked happy. How could he forget this? The Doomsday Mecha Lu Bu can transform into a fighter plane and fly. The length of 70 meters is much longer than most fighter planes in the world today. Comparable to the largest civilian airliner in the world. It's just one size smaller than those giant transport planes. As for the humanoid mecha form, 80 meters is also very high. The protagonist of Pacific Rim, Danger Wanderer, is only 79 meters tall. Zongdong Tianxia. Swing a powerful sword energy in the designated direction. Cooling time 12 seconds. Arrow of Flowing Fire. Creates a fire area to cause continuous damage, and will not suffer fire damage. Instead, it will restore health. The cooling time is 8.5 seconds. The skill can be stored up to 3 times. Running Wolf Emblem. An upgraded version of the Wind Spirit Emblem. After use, the movement speed is greatly increased, and the cooling time is 120 seconds. The rest are all old faces. Now Wong Kai's system equipment column contains 4 Endless, 1 Pojun, and 1 Grandmaster, which are finally full of critical hits. In addition, the system space backpack has doubled again. Already 128 cubic meters. The immortal demonic body has also been upgraded to level 29. Jingle bell bell. The cell phone suddenly rang. Wong Kai then withdrew from the lottery. I opened it and found that it was Tony's phone. So he pressed the answer button. Fury has told us that it will be difficult to deal with monsters if they can't be blown up with missiles. I plan to use PIM particles to amplify the suit and fight. Do you have any better way? The steel suit uses PIM particles and is only over 20 meters away. It is equivalent to a child fighting an adult with bare hands. There is no point in having more people. What's more, Dr. Pym doesn't have PIM particles at all. Briefly tell Tony what happened here. Then Wong Kai said confidently, leave this matter to me. You tell Nick Fury to prepare him to receive the monster's body. Hang up the phone. Dr. Pym's family and Ava's family have left. Luna was heartbroken watching the monsters raging in the city on the live news broadcast. Brother Kai, I can use thousands of duplications to tie up this monster with a magic whip. Then you attack it. Can this monster be eliminated? After hearing this, Wong Kai shook his head repeatedly. How does your strength compare with this monster? Don't take risks, just leave it to me. Touched Luna's hair. Wong Kai smiled and opened the portal to the sky above San Francisco. At a glance, it can be seen that the axe-headed monster has entered San Francisco more than 300 meters away. Behind him are ruined roads formed by building ruins. All kinds of fighter jets are still hovering in the sky. They have already launched a wave of attacks. But air-to-ground missiles that are powerful enough to crack mountains and crack rocks seem to be useless. Balls of explosive flames rose up. There's nothing wrong with monsters. He ignored them and kept moving forward to get beaten. And this is actually the monster's hometown. The intelligent class in the Prophet Planet, the Antiverse, the strategic plan set by the pioneers. Collect information through the first monster. At the same time, it pollutes the global environment at the cost of death. Transform it into a habitable environment for pioneers. System, replace the hero template Doomsday Mecha, Lu Bu. Ding, the host has changed the hero template and can now use all the skills of the Doomsday Mecha Lu Bu. Teoti Bloodline. Fang Tian's painted halberd will cause 100% true damage in the enchanted state. But when Fang Tian Wazan misses, the enchantment effect will be lost immediately. Fang Tian's painting slash. Swing Fang Tian's painting slash in the specified direction. When it comes into contact with blood, it will be enchanted, and then the physical damage will be converted into real damage. Cooling time, 5 seconds. Grip of the Greedy Wolf. Seizes the soul of the enemy within the specified direction, causing damage and reducing its movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds, while adding a shield to yourself. Cooldown time 8 seconds. The arrival of Mephisto. Falling from the sky at a designated location to start killing. After landing, Lu Bu will swing the Fangtian painting slash with all his strength to cause huge damage. At the same time, a bloody arena is generated, causing damage to enemies touching the edge. The cooldown time is 50 seconds. The skills are similar to those depicted in the game. Wong Kai gathered his thoughts and jumped down. When he opened his hands, a black light suddenly shone on the surface of his body. Then the black light spread quickly, forming a huge amount of humanoid shadow. Then the chest of the humanoid black shadow suddenly lit up with a golden red light. Buzz. A sound like the startup of a giant machine came from the black shadow. Then the black shadow was suddenly cut open by a halberd. Bang. Wong Kai drives the Doomsday Mecha to break through the shadows. The target is directed at the axe-headed monster on the ground. Look, what is that? Countless melon eaters who watched this battle opened their eyes wide. A giant humanoid mecha with black and red colors suddenly fell from the sky. With the force of breaking mountains and cracking rocks, he hit the axe-headed monster on the head with one punch. Click, boom, the axe-headed monster's head twisted a full 100 degrees in response. There is a deep and clear fist mark on his face. Wong Kai converts gravitational potential energy into kinetic energy. Coupled with the power of original. There are also equipment full of critical hits. With one punch, even a tank can be smashed into dumpling wrappers. But the axe-headed monster just broke its neck, not punched through the head. Wong Kai finally understood why these monsters in Pacific Rim could physically withstand nuclear bombs. This body is too hard. And the brain is not ordinary iron. It simply doesn't look like a flesh and blood creature in the carbon-based realm. Look, the giant mecha. It turns out to be a giant mecha in human form. A man's romance. Kill the monster with just one punch. This is so exciting. A netizen during the live broadcast was so excited about the Doomsday Mech that he was almost incoherent. And countless people watched his live broadcast. The men watching the news were even more excited. Unexpectedly, the steel mecha that only exists in fantasy has become a reality. That sharp-edged black steel is what everyone yearns for. Also at this time, in a certain white building, the President of the United States looked shocked when he saw the Doomsday mecha appearing. General, is this a mecha secretly developed by the military? How is that possible? This kind of giant mecha has no actual combat value. If taxpayers' money is really used to make such toys, we will all have to step down. The Minister of Defense looked at the Doomsday Mech and sneered. In his opinion, this flashy thing is not as useful as a small missile. At this time, suddenly there was another rush of footsteps coming from outside the office. A civil servant hurriedly ran into the office to report. General, we sent news from a military base in the Middle East, saying that they were attacked by unknown creatures. The president's face suddenly darkened. Asked angrily. It can't be this kind of monster again. Do they have any grudge against the United States? The civilian staff shook their heads and played the video recorded and transmitted from the military base on the TV. It's not a monster, but another kind of mechanical life form. The President and the Secretary of Defense were suddenly filled with questions. But as the progress bar of the video passes halfway, the faces of the two gradually became serious. In the video, a helicopter of unknown origin suddenly erupted with an electromagnetic pulse, paralyzing most of the electronic equipment in the military base. Then there was a strange sound. This helicopter actually seemed to be alive, dizzyingly transformed into a humanoid mechanical creature. The weapons in hand are extremely powerful. The laser cannon fired took less than a minute to destroy all aircraft, cars, and buildings in the base. And the video stopped abruptly. The President and the Secretary of Defense looked at each other. Everyone seemed to be asking if this was done by you. Both of them shook their heads in denial. Inform all senior executives to hold a meeting. As soon as the President issued the order, another civilian clerk ran over in a panic. Mr. President, another monster appears, and it can fly, and attacked one of our nuclear power plants. This time the President's face turned green. He has only been in office for a few days. It's both a monster and an unknown mechanical creature. Do these monsters have a grudge against him? The other side. Not to mention that the top management of the United States is in dire straits. Wong Kai has continued the war with the axe-headed monster. Although he broke the axe monster's neck with one punch. But the monster's vitality is simply terrifying. He actually tilted his head and continued fighting with Wong Kai. In fact, each monster has multiple brains and several secondary brains, which can guarantee 70% combat effectiveness even if it is covered with wounds. Ding, it has been detected that the host is located at the sign-in location where the monster axe had landed, and the sign-in process will begin. The countdown to sign in is 4 minutes and 59 seconds. The system sound sounded. Wong Kai was not in the mood to pay attention. At this time he was caught in a feverish fight, driving a giant mecha and punching you to the core. Every time a punch hits the axe-headed monster, blood seems to be gushing out. And the wailing of monsters will also appear. Wong Kai used a left kick, a right whip kick, and a left jab. The axe-headed monster tilts its head and can't see clearly. It's impossible to prevent it. The one who was beaten kept retreating. Then Wong Kai punched even more unscrupulously and crazily. The fists fell on the axe-headed monster like raindrops. Ola 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 ola. The axe-headed monster was knocked back for a while. I don't know how many bones in my body were broken. The body gradually becomes weak. There was also massive bleeding from the internal organs. No matter how powerful the vitality is, it can hardly withstand it at this time. When Wong Kai saw this, he naturally launched an attack even harder. Mantra Ming Wong. 5 punches in quick succession. The power of each punch is over 1,000 tons. When it hits the axe-headed monster, its body immediately sinks in, followed by the skill effect of weakening the armor. Wong Kai burst out with strength and stepped forward again. One jab hit the monster directly in the chest. Boom! The Doomsday Mecha knocked the monster dozens of meters away with one punch. Powerful power spreads like ripples through the monster's weak body. With a dull and loud bang, it landed on the ground. Then he couldn't get up again. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing the villain axe monster and getting 100 check-in points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for signing in at the place where the axe-headed monster logs in, and getting 500 sign-in points. The system prompt sounds. This proves that the axe-headed monster was really beaten to death by him. But looking around again, there are ruins covering hundreds of meters in radius, and several high-rise buildings tens of meters tall have collapsed, which makes people sigh. However, compared to the introduction of destroying the entire San Francisco in the original movie, the axe-headed monster that the military bombed for several days and used 3 small nuclear weapons to kill was already much better. And the most important thing is, it's none of his business. It was already his duty to come out to help, and he wouldn't have bothered to do it if he hadn't checked to see if there was a sign-in point. Bend your knees and jump on the spot. It transforms into a black and red fighter jet in midair and shoots high-temperature flames straight into the sky. The Doomsday Mecha disappeared from people's sight. At the same time, it also ranked first in the superhero hot search rankings. Fulian Building. Tony played the military video from Nick Fury. Wong Kai was stunned in place after seeing it. He actually saw Dizzy, the first Decepticon villain to appear in Transformers 1. After transforming into a helicopter, able to unleash another impressive Decepticon, Scorpion Sark, and the villain Muto in Godzilla 2014. This thing looks like a cockroach. What's more troublesome is that it can fly and release electromagnetic pulses. In the movie, this trick was used to defeat the military's attack. Let people only place their hopes on Mr. Godzilla. Hiss. Wong Kai took a breath of air. I always feel like having so many villains appear at the same time is not a good sign. Tony, please check to see if there is Sam Witwicky. He should be a high school student and lives in New York. eBay account number is Prince Charming 217. Also, let Nick Fury ask if there is a huge amount of metal cube buried under the Hoover Dam, and a similar humanoid mechanical life form. Jarvis moves very quickly. In less than 10 seconds, it has been confirmed multiple times. There is no leading actor in Transformers 1 in New York. 10 minutes later Nick Fury also replied, Hoover Dam is just an ordinary dam. Neither the Allspark nor Megatron were buried. At this moment, Wong Kai felt that his head was heavy, and he quickly ran to find Ancient One to ask what was going on. In fact, they are the same as Emperor Thanos, the result of disturbing time. It's just that Emperor Thanos is a major earthquake, and they are just aftershocks. Wong Kai was speechless for a moment. As the saying goes, the king of hell is easy to deal with and the devil is difficult to deal with. He killed the Emperor Thanos with one punch, but more villains from other universes came. Can this still allow him to live a good life? Mage Ancient One, this shouldn't be just the beginning. Wong Kai asked with a dark face. You were right, there will be various multi-universe villains coming to our universe to cause trouble in the future. But I believe you will handle it well. Ancient One is all smiles. Wong Kai looked sad. He won't be able to take any time off if we work together. These villains would appear one after another to annoy him to death. Suddenly, Wong Kai thought of a good way to eliminate future troubles once and for all. Mage Ancient One, if I take the initiative to go to their universe and kill all those villains, they won't come over. Wong Kai is not a person who likes to be beaten passively. Even the ones who got beaten were the villains. He wants to take the initiative. Head to their universe to cheer these guys up. Theoretically it's possible. But that time machine that travels to parallel universes doesn't allow you to travel to the multi-universe. Ancient One waved with one hand. There were many light groups in the sky. The scenes that appear above are all worlds that Wong Kai is familiar with. Naruto, Pirates, Death God, One Punch Superman, Demon Slayer, etc. There's even Dragon Ball. Hey guys, in the later stages of Dragon Ball, any villain can blow up the Earth casually, okay. Marvel can only compare with the comic universe. It seems that the Decepticons and various monsters are simply weak. The more Gen leans towards the two-dimensional combat power, the more outrageous it becomes. The infinite multi-universe contains infinite possibilities. You can go to their universe and kill all the villains, or you can choose to make that universe peaceful. This can solve the problem. Ancient One waved his hand again and all the images disappeared immediately. Wang Kai finally understood the next path. Although it is troublesome, there is nothing we can do about it. After all, even if he was told in advance, he would still choose to resurrect his parents. How do I get to these universes? Wang Kai asked. Since the time machine cannot work, then the only one left is the Ancient One who can open the portal to the Hell dimension. But Ancient One shook his head. It's not easy to travel to the multi-universe. It requires a kind of props, which our universe just doesn't have. But fortunately, someone will come to your door. Delivered to your door? Wang Kai asked doubtfully. But Ancient One refused to reveal any more information. In desperation, Wang Kai had to leave, turned around and returned to the Avengers building. Explained things briefly to everyone. Everyone expressed their understanding. After all, the world has always been in turmoil, and it is impossible for there to be no waves at all. So now how to deal with Vertigo and Muto? Tony asked helplessly. Both of these release electromagnetic pulses. His steel suit is simply incompetent. The temporary transformation came too late, making Tony feel extremely aggrieved. Whatever you can do, let me do it. Wang Kai sighed. He accepted the 200 check-in points disrespectfully. Muto, an ancient creature that feeds on nuclear energy. It has a triangular head and jaw, red eyes, and 2 pairs of huge amounts of forelimbs. It looks like a combination of cockroach and bat. Those who can fly are males, currently hovering over the United States, relying on instinct to find food, aka nuclear power plants. At this time, suddenly, the sky above Muto was filled with dark clouds. And with the sound of rumbling thunder, suddenly a bolt of lightning illuminated the dark clouds. A dragon-shaped shadow is revealed inside. Then thunder and lightning continued. Always hovering over Muto, under the danger perception of biological instinct, Muto immediately wanted to escape from the dark cloud. But it's too late. A thick green thunder exploded from the clouds. There was a loud bang. The cyan thunder struck directly at Muto and penetrated Muto's body. Muto let out a long whine. Black smoke erupted all over his body and he fell to the ground. But maybe it's because it hasn't died yet. So all of a sudden more thunder appeared. Countless dazzling white electric lights all fell towards Muto as if they were driven by someone. Suddenly there was thunder in the sky. The sound of thunder explodes as if to declare who is the king of the sky. No one can see it, no one can defeat it. Muto died in a lightning strike without the ability to fight back. Transform into a green dragon and kill Muto to get 100 check-in points. Wang Kai now has a total of 2,200 check-in points. But after thinking about it, I decided to hold back and try another 10 draws in a row. Now his strength is completely sufficient. It's better to wait until you get into trouble before drawing the lottery. The green dragon turned around and transformed into a human form. Wang Kai used the infinite stones to return home. The Dizzy Incarnation helicopter is not easy to find. He could only wait for others to send news and then go over to solve it. In addition, although the axe monster has been solved, but Wang Kai believes that the monster's attack will not end. The second monster in the Pacific Rim universe returns a few months later. There will be no exception on their side. This side of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury conducted a comprehensive examination of the monster's body. The result was exactly the same as what Wang Kai said. Monster blood appears blue. It will automatically decompose and evaporate after death. Entering the atmosphere combines with oxygen to form toxic substances. If the missile bombing is really mindless, it will be counterproductive and make the entire city unfit for survival. In addition, they also detected that the monster was not a carbon-based creature, but silicon-based life. It's no wonder that their bone plates and skin are surprisingly hard. This kind of alien life makes Nick Fury feel more threatened. But at the same time, we also see the hope of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s re-emergence. After reporting everything to his superiors, it didn't take long for One-Eye Braised Egg to get the funds he had dreamed of. Start rebuilding the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters and a new generation space carrier. The only pity is that Captain America and S.H.I.E.L.D. veteran Peggy are living in a two-person world. Don't answer his calls at all. The desire to quickly restore S.H.I.E.L.D. with the help of their prestige was abandoned halfway. 3 days later, Decepticon Dizzy finally appears again. And I don't know where I brought my companions from. Roadblock, transformed into a police car. Noisy, it transformed into an M1 main battle tank. The Bone Crusher Demon transforms into an earth yellow armored vehicle. When Wong Kai saw these 4 guys appearing, he knew they were here to deliver the check-in point. Aren't these the 4 old men who received box lunches in Transformers 1? Megatron can still be resurrected after death. The 4 of them died on the spot and had to leave with their lunch boxes. At this time, these 4 Decepticons are killing each other on the streets of Washington. The civilians in New York finally breathed a sigh of relief when they saw this. This is just great. Last time it was San Francisco, this time it was Washington. Finally got rid of New York. Humanity, hand over the leader of Megatron and the source of fire. Barricade shouted at the top of his lungs. Faced with repeated firing by police in Washington, D.C., continuously firing missiles and laser cannons, suddenly there was a continuous roar of explosions on the street. The police in Washington, D.C. were left in a state of panic. Who the hell is Megatron? What is the source of fire? Countless police detectives are distressed and want to ask this question. But the 4 Decepticons just repeated this sentence. And people in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have no idea what this means. Boom. A police car was hit by a missile fired by stun and exploded instantly. Violent shock waves spread out in all directions. It shattered the glass of various shops on the street. The blazing flames on the police car were as violent as the thoughts of the 4 Decepticons. They learn human language through the internet, understand human social structure. After a simple inference, he believed that his leader Megatron was imprisoned by humans. And what they speculated is indeed correct. There's just something wrong. While 4 Decepticons were wreaking havoc on the streets, a blue sword light fell from the sky instantly. With the power to split Washin Mountain, it slashed towards the tank's deformed Noise. Boom. Huge amounts of the demon blade instantly split Noisy in half. Cut it from the head through the chest to the soles of the feet on the ground. The separated fracture is extremely smooth. Wong Kai just turned on real damage and nothing else was used. Then he hacked the alien metal mechanical life form to death. Since then, there has been one more victim of the demon blade. Ding, it's detected that the host has killed the villain Noisy, and will be rewarded with 100 check-in points. The system prompt sounds. Wong Kai looked at the remaining 3 Decepticons indifferently. At this time, his whole body was covered by strict blue magic armor, hiding his face, but it can't cover the blue light in the eyes that makes the enemy tremble. The remaining 3 Decepticons quickly retreated. At the same time, all weapons are aimed at Wong Kai. Then, after seeing Noisy's body that was split into 2, Rage launched all weapon attacks. Kill this Earthling. Bang 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 bang. More than 10 missiles were fired from the Decepticons' gun chamber, leaving streaks of white smoke in the air flying towards Wong Kai. At the same time, laser weapons and sonic weapons were aimed at Wong Kai and fired at full power, revealing a circular ripple and red afterimage. Then all the attacks hit Wong Kai fiercely. Boom. In an instant, the sound of explosion spread throughout the street. The shock wave passed like a Category 7 gale. The billboards of many shops were scraped away. The raging and burning flames enveloped Wong Kai. The 3 Decepticons suddenly laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, this is what happens when you offend us. As soon as he finished speaking, a 40-meter sword split the flames in the blink of an eye. It fell directly on the bone-crushing demon who was smiling the most happily. With a flash of blue sword light, the Bone Crusher demon was also split into 2. You were really weak. Wong Kai slowly walked out of the split flames. Looking at the remaining 2 Decepticons, he shook his head. Just a kid. It's not difficult either. It just keeps popping up and annoying people. Step with explosive force under your feet. Suddenly the cement floor cracked. Wong Kai passed through the 2 Decepticons like a gust of wind. Cut both of them in half at the same time with one knife. The dizziness and roadblocks slipped from the chest to the side without the upper body even having time to react. It made a dull sound when it fell to the ground. All Decepticons about 7 meters long can be killed in one blow. The police officers watching from the periphery were stunned. After a long time, cheers broke out. At this time, Wang Kai had already left invisibly. The subsequent finishing work will be taken care of by S.H.I.E.L.D. He was just here to collect sign-ins. A week passed in the blink of an eye. The turmoil caused by monsters and Decepticons gradually subsided. Since I can't hide this kind of thing. So the whole world knew about the existence of aliens. I also know that human beings are not alone in the universe. The enemy is looking at the Earth with eager eyes. But the Earth is also protected by heroes, which can be regarded as achieving the effect after Avengers 1 in the original plot. And Wang Kai once again lived a life of going to school and fishing with Luna. Whether you come or not depends on your mood and availability. Hey Luna, Peter's girlfriend and Luna's best friend Gwen immediately came up to say hello when she saw the two of them. Long time no see. Are you going to save the world? Why did you disappear for so long? Wang Kai and Luna immediately looked at each other and smiled. You guessed it, we are going to save the world. Really? Gwen asked with her eyes widened. I have known Peter for almost a year now. So Gwen already knows that her boyfriend is the superhero Spider-Man. The two of them also mentioned Wang Kai and Luna when they were together. As a result, Peter respects both of them very much. She knew that Wang Kai and Luna were not ordinary people. Of course it's true. Luna stepped forward and said with a smile. I can totally tell you about this. The two chatted and laughed in a harmonious atmosphere, and soon left Wang Kai aside. My best friends are great. When Wang Kai saw this, he sighed in his heart. Now my parents have nothing to do at home and can play with the cat. Or hanging out with Mantis. Luna also has many best friends. This way you can feel at ease even if you go to other worlds. I was just about to ask Peter why he wasn't with her. As a result, suddenly there was an explosion in the distance. Boom! The bad days for the people of New York seem to be coming again. A green-skinned creature that looks like a goblin stands on a glider. Launched several missiles to continuously attack a person wearing a red and black spider suit. The two chased each other between buildings in New York. None other than the Green Goblin and Spider-Man. Green Goblin. Wang Kai was a little confused when he saw this. Didn't this guy lose his memory? He was actually pretending, and he was really fighting Spider-Man to the death. You guys keep talking, I'll go take a look. Wang Kai turned to Luna and Gwen and said. Then, while everyone around him was attracted by the explosion, he quickly disappeared. Then he switched to the metal storm and flew towards the Green Goblin. Gwen was surprised when she saw this. For a moment, I felt envious of super ability. Luna, you said it would be great if I also had Peter's spider powers, so he wouldn't have to worry about me. On the battlefield above New York, Spider-Man is escaping from the Green Goblin and complaining. I thought I was back in my own universe, but it turned out to be another parallel universe. How many Spider-Man DNAs did the Green Goblin have to collect before it ends? Wasn't it miserable enough to be beaten by the flying version of myself? At this time, Wang Kai had already flown over the Green Devil. Then he hit him with a fierce punch. Bang! The Green Goblin wearing metal armor was directly knocked off the glider. Then he spun and fell to the ground. And below is New York's Central Park. Hey Peter. Why have you lost so much weight? Wang Kai looked at Spider-Man with a puzzled look on his face. Now Peter's body size has shrunk completely. He seems to be a little shorter in height. He looked puzzled. Spider-Man fired the spider silk from the spider silk launcher on his wrist and swung it to Wang Kai. First of all, I thanked him for saving my life. Then he asked in a very surprised tone. Mr. Stark, I didn't expect that your steel suit would become more handsome in this world. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kai was stunned at the time. The person who could say such things was definitely not the Peter Parker he knew. Just when he wanted to ask, from the corner of my eye, I saw another person wearing a red and black uniform. The adult Spider-Man swings over, firing webs directly from his wrist. Combined with the web launcher of the little Spider-Man in front of us. Now he understood instantly. It's Spider-Man from other universes who came to his universe. After all, he can travel to other parallel universes through a time machine. Then other universes can naturally do it too. You must be from another universe. Wang Kai said helplessly. Little Spider-Man immediately touched his head. He also saw Spider-Man swinging from the distance. Ha ha ha, I didn't hide it from you, Mr. Stark. I am indeed Spider-Man from another universe. Because the Green Goblin wanted to collect the DNA of Spider-Man from different worlds to strengthen himself, I followed him in order to stop him. We've gone through 6 universes, little Spider-Man said embarrassedly. After hearing this, Wong Kai's eyes suddenly lit up. Could it be the Green Goblin down there? What did he use to allow you to teleport to 6 universes? The excited sound coming from Metal Storm made little Spider-Man a little confused. Ah, the boundary-breaking stone. Isn't there one in this universe? Wong Kai immediately drove Metal Storm downwards. The person the Ancient One is talking about is this Green Goblin. Here comes the props sender. As soon as Wong Kai left, the adult version of Spider-Man came to little Spider-Man. Peter looked at his smaller self with a confused expression on his face. Have no idea what's going on. When little Spider-Man saw this, he had to quickly explain. Spider-Man then understood what was going on. One of the 2 Spider-Man looks 16 years old, the other looks 26 years old. They are very different in terms of personality and equipment. Hey buddy, why don't you have a web launcher? Little Spider-Man asked in surprise. His web launcher requires spider slime. Replace it after use. Things often went wrong during the battle, leaving him in a hurry. I don't know either. Spider-Man himself still wonders why he uses a web launcher. Aren't they all fired directly from the wrist? The battlefield below. The Green Goblin, who was beaten to pieces, has woken up. He felt as if he had been attacked by someone. Otherwise, you won't be able to avoid it. At this time, Wong Kai drove Metal Storm to the sky above the Green Devil. He said condescendingly and indifferently, "Ugly monster, hand over the boundary-breaking stone, and I will spare your life." Then a palm cannon destroyed the Green Goblin's glider. He couldn't escape even if he wanted to. When the Green Goblin saw this, he became furious. The demon glider is his treasure. There were a lot of equipment inside, but they were blown up by this big guy like this. This revenge must be avenged. Stark, you will regret what you did. The Green Goblin reached out and took out a simple and shining blue stone from inside his armor. Aiming at the left side and smiling ferociously. Suddenly the blue stone emitted 6 rays of light. In the blink of an eye, 6 portals appeared. Then 6 green goblins walked out of it. 6 green monsters. Future Green Goblin, She-Green Goblin, Shadow Goblin, Cartoon Donkey Goblin, Magical Goblin, and Ultimate Goblin came out of it. Wong Kai was stunned when he saw it. Especially that cartoon donkey demon. It's just for fun. A green donkey face, 2 long ears. The gray nose and 2 large nostrils look ridiculous. In less than 2 seconds, he couldn't hold back his laughter and burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, are you trying to laugh me to death? Why do I think you should find a pig? This way you will have pig teammates. Ha ha ha. Wong Kai laughed heartily. I just feel that this Green Goblin must have been knocked unconscious. But his laughter is not over yet. The donkey demon rushed into the air with an angry look on his face. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Wong Kai. I don't know where I pulled out a mace that was several times larger than the Green Goblin. Then Wong Kai was slapped to the ground with a bang. Do you despise cartoons that much? The donkey demon hummed and asked. So, never compare your fighting ability with a character with a funny style. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.